I have conviction that I don't think she will join, but she said she has unfinished business with the presidency. If these guys are going to run, because you see, young people are not greedy about power. For us, we are interested in fixing the nation. So people can even come, make sure the systems are working, and if at all they want to come at and run at a different time, they can do it. But for now, this is not their time. They need to read the writing on the wall and offer us blessing. So yes, I look forward to that. Tony Gashoka, I think Kenyan lady, you were there when I was trying to hold him to account, and he was like, "Yeah, I hear you, but you know it's not me. I'll bring Kalonzo Musyoka and you can talk to him. We will tell him the truth." He put his son in EACC. These people, he's very unlucky because I was taught Kenyan history on the road. So I've been to his backyard. He has no reason to ask for leadership. Where he had the opportunity, he failed the people of Mwingi. The Kenya we want a child in Mwingi, a child in Bungoma, Turkana, Wasingishu, any part of the country to get the same facility. So what he thinks he can offer, he had the chance and he failed us. So for young people, can we stop fighting? And when we fight, can it stop being too petty? We can just fight and move on and not threaten other people's life and learn from each other. Trust the process. Don't be discouraged by the attacks on KOT. You deserve a chance. Personally, I'm not interested to run for office. I think my passion is elsewhere, but I'm rooted in the movement. But I want to see young voices coming up. I want to see Kina Baba Jackie telling their children, "You get out, go and join your friends to run for office." Don't worry about the money. We have shown the spirit, the Kenyan spirit, that we can support each other to the very end. And we should push ourselves. For us to be able to push that IEBC bill, we need to have voices of people who want to run for office. Let's encourage young people to come out. Then when we have the people who we know can run in different areas of the country, then we start pushing for IEBC forcefully so that we are ready. But before that, engage in spaces, learn why are we against agricultural livestock bill, education, funding model. Talk to, at least in uni, people talk and we're like, the funding model needs to go. How do you change school fees from 15,000 to 200,000? Which country do they live in? We want the Western powers to get a hands of Kenya and hands of Africa. So for any young person, for any parent out there, believe in the kids you have raised. My grandfather says, what is born is always better. Push them. Don't say, oh, I know you're lazy. We're not lazy. The country has failed a lot of people. People abroad, they know Kenya is the motherland, and that's where they want to be. Kenyans and Africans have brilliant ideas. So this destructive tactics to destroy the movement should come to an end. Our people united cannot be defeated. Don't be lied to. There are people who want a lot of drama. They keep telling people to go to the street. Let's first focus on structures and understanding the process. If it's that IEBC, if it's how dirty politics is, if it's how to launch your bid, let's have those conversations. A time will come. This battle belongs to God. We are the army of the Lord. The regime will go, whether they like it or not. We don't have weapons. Our weapon, our voices, our determination and knowledge. And the fact that the altars of religion, of tribalism, and age have been broken, the country is free. Whatever other issues we are fighting, God will clear the path. For now, we keep moving. So KOT, I'm really, really sorry. When personally I get past what happened, I'll reach out to you. But don't allow people to guilt trip you. It costs money to host the space. You're a student. We need to support. You're one of us. So we are here for you. So don't be shy to put up that number. We will support you 100%. And don't ever explain yourself. The only thing I didn't like is that you kept explaining yourself. Don't do it again. Sometimes you just have to they say dogs bark at people they don't know. So don't allow dogs to bark at you, and you have to explain to yourself to dogs. So let's forge forward. I'm really, really sorry, and I hope you find peace in your heart. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nothing KE. And honestly, I don't want to rant, but guys, I want to give you this direction. Saizi nimekuwa huku nyuma, and you guys, I don't know how those guys from TikTok accessed my mom's phone number. Sijui alienda kwa Facebook yangu. And honestly, they are sending that woman threats. I mean, tumia saizi text. I have shared with you Nothing KE in your DM saizi. So achani na hiyo jokes bana. Honestly, achani na huyo mama akae. Kama uko na namba yake, please, because I don't think sasa inaenda kwa jokes venye tunafanya hapa. You guys are sending that woman threats. Na you force me to go home and try to work on this. Honestly, achania na huyo mama akae, please. Story huku bakisheni huku, please. This is not even a request, I'm demanding kindly. Achania na huyo mama akae kama ulipata namba yake, please, 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 please. That's just a request. Nothing you can check in your DM. Unaweza anza kunikasirisha hapa vibaya.
KOT, I'm really sorry.
Okay, so who is next? Toria, just carry on kiasi. I'm coming back in a few minutes.
Can I speak next?
Okay. Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Toria. Number one, mimi personally nasikia ni kama nitachizi. Daily, every day I wake up nasikia ni kama nitachizi. I don't know if it's just me who feels this way or other Kenyans are feeling it. So, na watu wananikasirisha sana ni millennials. Millennials. I have this friend of mine, and I was asking him whether he's still fighting for good governance, and he said, you fight near Gen Z. If you're a millennial and you're here and you have such talks, please, you're failing your bloodline, you're failing your ancestors, you're failing the people who fought for Kenya. Millennials wako na spirit ya slaves. Sijui imetoka wapi. I don't understand. They're comfortable with the salary they get, you know.
I can answer it on Mike.
And it's very, very depressing. So millennials, if you're here and you're a toothless dog, please know that you're failing your country. Number two, about malls. KOT, hizi vitu zisikushtue. X, watu wanakuanga hivyo. Na nyi watu wenye mna frustrate his mother, mwache hiyo ujinga. If you have problems with KOT, go fight with him. Don't bring people's parents into this fight. Na malls huonekana, at the end of the day, hiyo haifai kutu distract. Malls at the end of the day hujulikana tu. So let us not get distracted. We have so many things to think about. Number three, civic education. I love talking to people from my village. Natoka Huisero. So every time they call me or I call them, I've been constantly talking about bad governance. So please, Kenyans, try and also do this. Huyo auntie anapenda kukupigianga tu for no reason, kukusalimia. Akikuongelesha, talk to them about civic education. Teach them why this regime needs to go. And let me tell you people, history imeshika kwa ground. Wachaneni na X hata. Ushago, watu wanajua hizi vitu. I've been talking to my villagers and they're like, Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Imeshika. So the more you do it, the more hii movement itasonga mbele. And the last thing I want to talk about is, and this is the most important thing I want to say, unless we completely replace the old generation with the young generation of leaders, corruption will not end in Kenya or in Africa. Nataka muelewe kabisa. Problem si mtu mmoja. Tukichukua KOT tumweke kwa government saa hizi, he will be swallowed. Tukichukua Morara or Toria or whoever, in that system he will be swallowed. So problem, it's not one person. Problem si Ruto peke yake. Ruto ndio the head, but he's not the problem. Problem is the entire system. And the entire system is made up of these old people, this old generation of leaders, which needs to be completely replaced by this young generation, CC. So let me tell you guys, the young people, it is time for us to take over. It is time for us to take over. Don't worry about experience. Think about it this way. When Kenya got independence, they didn't have any experience. None of them had any experience. They learned on the job. Hata sisi, we will learn on the job. We will learn on the job. So guys, don't worry about experience. The older people have more experience. No. It is time for us to completely eradicate corruption for systems to thrive. Problem si mtu mmoja. Problem is the entire system, and it needs to be replaced completely with the younger generation, CC. So people, prepare to take up these positions. Zote, waende home, wakae ushago, wachunge mbuzi, wakae huko. That is all I had to say. Thank you so much.
Asante sana, Mike. So on the issue of IEBC, we need to get that thing in very quick. Because again, like you said, the whole system is broken. And Ruto basically has a state capture on us. So this guy has bought Senate, this guy has bought Parliament, this guy has bought MCAs, this guy has governors in his pocket. So all the way down that tree, Adiko MCA, if Ruto wants something to happen, it will happen because he has bought all those people. This guy has bought the judiciary, and this guy has also bought the arms of government. So akitaka kitu ifanyike, now you can see with the Gachagua issue, MPs are singing Ruto's tune, judges are singing Ruto's tune. Hii kitu tu inapita smoothly because kila mtu amekula zake za macho. So that is why we need IEBC ASAP. And why do we need IEBC ASAP? Because we have a 50+1 voting system, which by design is also flawed and easy to manipulate. Now, with such a voting system, it's very easy to become president. You just need to buy the chairman for IEBC because he's the one who is technically doing the counting, but one person can basically say what the head count is. It's a very flawed system. That's number one. But the advantage of it is if you have 50+1, you have 50+1. And any 50+1 system deteriorates into a 2-horse race by design. So as Gen Zs, we can definitely become horse number 2 against UDA, because UDA will be horse number 1 with the chairman of the IEBC in his pocket. But if we create a party, that's why I really liked Morara's idea to create a party. Not put as a minimum requirement. All MCA positions. Tell our very illiterate village people, when you see a ballot paper, tick inject. That's the only way to remove the whole structure. Mtu akienda pale anapiga 6 piece. Kuanzia kwa women rep mpaka kwa president. Ana tick inject, ana tick inject, ana tick inject. So that the inject party wins ground seats, parliament seats, senate seats, governor seat, president seat. Zote sita. Tuchukue. Because if Morara takes president and then kuanzia hapo for flower decoration. Tunaenda tunafanya amendment, inaenda parliament, tick tick tick, inaenda senate, tick 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 tick. Vitu zinapita. MCS wanaingia pale kwa tick tick. You see the way they do same day voting right now in parliament and pass nonsense in 2 hours. That's what we need to do now on the opposite end for the cleanup, because you won't clean the systems unless you have the majority votes in the houses. If you don't have majority in the houses, there's nothing you're changing on our constitution. That's how it's designed. And Ruto knows that. That's why he's bought all the MPs. Yeah. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Alan, I want to stop you for a while.
Hello.
Can you hear me, you guys? I need, there are people's hands up, please. Let's listen to them first, then you can hop in later. Felix, are you there? Felix?
Yes.
Okay, talk to us.
Yes, I'm there. Okay, thank you. Good evening, guys. I think everyone is fine and it's well. I'm also fine. Thank God for this evening. Now, on the issue on the country and the issue, the topic of today, no retreat, no surrender. I think I joined this meeting when a lot of guys were talking about strategies. And if you look at this movement, when it started, youths, we are just fighting for good governance, but we are not talking about things or tactics that when we use, we can achieve this good governance. Because number one, it is known that Ruto is the face of it. Ruto is at the center of it, and is the person who the whole country relies on, so that we can change this whole system. But Ruto is not willing to do it. In fact, he is even acting. He is even worsening the situation. And that is why many of these countries' generation, whether young, big, we are mindful of not only this generation, but the coming generation. And the optics are now clear that if we continue like this country will go to the dogs, and our children or the children of our children will not have a country here. Because even us ourselves staying in this country peacefully and successfully is a big problem. We must fight, we must toil, we must suffer so much so that even we can feed ourselves. So I think there are issues that when we target, in fact we should target, and then when we target them, we will end with the result of good governance. Issue number one, currently, I think you are all aware that IBC desks, IBC officers are just there. There is nothing much taking place there. There's completely nothing going on here at the IBC right now. So the constitution of IBC, it is not just a matter of the constitution of IBC. I think IBC have got some smelling issues, some great spots that before we even take this matter to constitute IBC, we should start fixing those small issues. I think about week ago or 2 weeks ago, I talked to somebody who is listening to me right now on the issue of IBC. I DM and then we chat to connect directly. And according to technology right now we are having this chat using technology. And I shared with her that through technology, IBC can even be made to work better, and all those compromises that we normally see those previous elections can be eliminated. Zinaweza tolewa. So number one, I think as the youth, we need to gather the expertise, especially in IT sector. I believe this, so that we can organize and reconstitute that IBC with laws and those hizo vitu za kutuma results, like tuangalie that whole process. Tusiwache politicians wakae chini, sijui mara task force 10 committee 10 men waende wakae chini waangalie hizo vitu. With the youth venye tunakuwa hapa kwa space, tuongelele hizo issues, at least tukae na bare minimums. Hizi ndio vitu tunataka IBC ikuwe inaonekana hivi na hivi na hivi. Venye tulikuwa tunafanya that time of maandamano na at least tunasema parliament cabinet isolviwe. So at least through expertise wenye wamekuwa sober na wakadiscuss these issues even hapa kwa space, we should come up with the bare minimums in IBC tunafaa kufanya, especially kwa hiyo process ya election. Number one, the thing that the reason why I'm talking about this, you find that each and every season of election, we get foreigners. They come through companies, and the worst part is that they even come as individuals. The previous election, there was an individual known as Jose Camargo. Now, if you look at what all these things that these people are coming to do, even through their companies, those Otimofo, the one printing ballot papers, all those things, it is just that we have been captured na mtu anatubebea akili. Ndio maana tunaambiwa sisi hatuwezi print ballot papers. I've argued with so many guys in this country. Wanasema, Kenya hatuna makampuni sijui ya kutengeneza ballot papers. We can print our own ballot papers. We can have IT platforms like hii yenye tunaongea nayo kwa space. We can have our own platform. Wenye hiyo process yote ya election inakuwa relied there. We can maintain our own register. Sio ati ikifika 2025 2026 ndio utaanza kusikia 2027 ikielekea huko, kusikia sijui fulani kampuni nyingine sijui inatoka Germany, sijui nyingine inatoka Qatar, Saudi Arabia. At the end of the day, when issues appear or when issues occur, there is no way you can do scrutiny. Remember Paul Mwite right now, who is now the Gachagwa's lawyer. He once told the court that France people are asleep. They cannot wake up to show to relay the information in the server. That was the bone of contention. And this server issue, it also appeared the previous election, 2022, 2017, hata 2013. Kwa hivyo mimi nawaomba mkuwe sober, discuss the issue ya IBC before anything is there, before anything is consented to, before parliament wa pass kitu yote. Tusome hiyo kitu venye tulisoma finance bill na to translate kitu yote yenye tunaona is contrary to what we think or where we see maybe a great Ruto can compromise. Tunaenda tunasema hapa na hapa na hapa hatutaki. That is the only way we can deal with our own elections. Hata kama tuibana na Wakenya wenyewe. Si ati mtu anasema ati sivyo kampuni nyingine itoke China ikuje itufanyie election. Alafu sasa IBC hakuna chenye IBC wanafanya at the end of the day. Truly speaking, hakuna chenye wanafanyanga. Kama ballot papers they cannot, wao wanaendanga tu kuleta ballot papers from the airport. Wanaleta kwa police station. Haya, relay result wanakuja tu wanasema sio platform tu watu watalog in aje. Those are nonsense. I think Okiya Mtata, if all of you can do research on Okiya Mtata, the law, the senator for Okiya County, he made a good presentation, a good analysis. And according to him, which I also believe in, Kenyans can have fully digitalized election without hata kupiga ticket for ballot paper at it. Because even this ballot paper, they're wasting our own their resources. Kwa sababu saizi ukienda kuangalia budget ya IBC, ballot paper alone peke yake is around 8 billion ya Kenya, pesa ya Kenya, 8 billion. So mnaweza fanya research, mnaweza angalia ukiwa Mtata's presentation on IBC, hapo Spice FM. We had that conversation with Latif and Muga. Number 2, hiyo part ya IBC nimemalizana nayo. So at least tukue sober with this issue of IBC. Tusikae tu tuone ati IBC sasa inaweza fanya kazi, because we don't know the route and the evil, the demons that Ruto ameweka hapo, because hizi yende anapotoka. Number 2, there is this issue about changing the system. Now, changing the system, it sounds to be an easy journey that we can go through, but it is not easy, especially when the rest of the society, the rest of Kenyans are not aware of what we want. And saa hii unazaona pressure imerudi chini juu hata saizi wanasema Gachagua anaondoka. Ukirudi huko Nyanza mahali kutoka wanasema Gachagua aende kabisa, Ruto afanye kazi sijui mara na Raila na vitu zingine. These people, they don't understand so many things of this country. So this issue of going to the government, CO2, and like maybe right now we can rally behind Morara, somebody's talking about Kalonzo, somebody's also talking about Okiya Mtata. But Okiya Mtata made it clear that it is not about an individual. This is a movement. Huh? This is a movement. And trust me, Kenyan government from 2013, I think government ya 2013 iliingia, maybe sikupiga hiyo kura, lakini ilianza kuwa macho kidogo. Kenyan government, they enter into problems immediately. They enter office. They took office because they don't know how to build trust. Ruto hakuifanya, and
Felix amepotea.
I guess. So guys, kindly let's take 3 minutes each. We minimize on at least kila mtu aongee. I don't know if you'll have to bear with me. 3 minutes, kila mtu aongee. So let's start with the Kenyan lady, 3 minutes. We go to Data Active, 3 minutes. Farah, 3 minutes. That way. Kenyan lady, the platform is yours.
Asante. So I want to respond to a few things, and I pray that I make my points within 3 minutes. Okay, so the one thing that nataka kuongelea, at least I have calmed down now. I really love the way young people call us millennials, old people. Yani nyinyi. But we support you 100%. So let me go to my points. Number 1, IEBC. There's somebody that spoke right before Felix and made very, very good points about IEBC. However, this is what I want us to know, that the stalemate that's happening right now, why we do not have IEBC right this second, is because of that Kalonzo Musyoka, mwenye tunafaa, the person that we are supposed to be joining or something like that. Okay, so it is like every political, Ruto has held us hostage, and then Kalonzo Musyoka has held us hostage. Let me explain. He gave his commissioners for the IEBC, and then Naye Raila akapatiana commissioners wake, but they did not agree. Those two people that we thought have been fighting for us for so many years cannot agree, and that's why right now we are in a deadlock. Okay, so let's educate ourselves up to there. So for him to even assume that the young people can join Wiper Party or whatever he's thinking, let him resolve that deadlock for IEBC, alafu, then maybe anaweza ongea na sisi. But I don't think there's a way that, for any reason, that we should get absorbed into the political elite. And I'm so happy that people are getting the point. Majority of the movement is getting the point. So on about the IEBC still, they're saying, oh, if you guys listened to the motion about impeachment, wanasema ati kufa dereva, kufa makanga, alafu passengers wafanye nini. That was just to imply that we need the president to give us the IEBC, right? And when he gives us the IEBC, which I don't know when it's gonna happen, you know, because of this Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga deadlock. When he does give us the IEBC, which is what we should be championing right this second, then we go to the point of, you know, I do like Morara. I don't care anybody. Just like a KOT, I stood with him and I did not even care from day one. I do not even give a shit. I stand with this movement like forever. Like I know this is the movement that's gonna save Kenya. Na hiyo si kumaanisha ati hamtaanguka, ati enemies will not pull you down, ati you guys hamtajikwaa. No. Just remain focused. You fall, you remain focused. You fall, don't take a break. Continue, remain focused. So the idea that you know, we brought up, you know, was this adopt a kijana once IEBC is installed, because the thing they have brought is that you have to, for you to acquire an ID, you have to give 1,000 Kenya shillings. So vile tumeenda huko mashinani kabisa, you know, with the inject movement, we will be adopting at least mtu kama anaweza, you adopt 20 young people. Another person adopt 50 young people. That's about 50,000. You pay for 50,000 young people to get their IDs. Hizo IDs to make sure mmezipata. Let them not think that bringing in the IEBC and also putting another hard top of ati utalipishwa 1,000 Kenya shillings if you want an ID. We got you covered. Kenyans got Kenyans in this movement. We will pick up the adopt vijana, the adopt kijana, and I am ready. All of us, you guys don't even have an idea how much we believe in this movement. Like we've been saving for this movement. So adopt kijana is one thing that we are ready for. Once IEBC is installed, kila mtu na vijana wake wenye hawajiwezi kule mashinani, 10 of them, 15 of them, whoever is not able to afford the 1,000 Kenya shillings will be on top of it. And this will be through the inject party. So a very, very good thing, a very, very good initiative. The other thing that I want to talk to, mkiona mtu amekosa, msiende kumkosoa, bring the ideas, and as long as that person associates and is affiliated to the movement. And why am I saying this? Because somebody came here, nimesahau alikuwa nani, akasema ati Morara ameofa kukuwa president, but he does not have, you know, the other people. Listen, what are you saying that for? If you belong to this movement, bring the suggestion. Bring the suggestions. All of us have put our behinds. We've put everything that we know behind Morara. And that's the person that we are going to be standing with. And we'll make sure very, very soon he has everybody that he needs. So he's the president. How do we come up with come up with the other representatives? So come on in and give us those ideas. Many of us are supporters. Many of us maybe don't want to be in politics. We want to do, other things. So why don't you come in?
Kenyan lady, your 3 minutes are past. Even you have used 6 minutes.
Oh my God, sorry. So yeah, tukosoane na, and by bringing ideas, you understand? Ukikosoa to make sure you have something to correct. How do I say it? You have a counter, you have an answer, at least you have a response, you have an alternative to whatever you are trying to counter. Thank you so much. I'll drop for other people. Thank you for listening to me. Asante Tori, asante KOT.
Okay, thank you. Guys, if you take more than 3 minutes, I'll drop you kindly. Kila mtu anataka kuongea, we need to hear everyone. Thank you so much, Kenyan lady. Kindly drop yourself. So, who was next? Adi may drop. Farah, go ahead, please. Farah, go ahead. Then we have Daktari.
Thank you. Unanisikia?
Yeah.
Okay, so yangu ni machache, but I'll try to be as objective as possible because I think we are putting too much burden on Morara. If we are to achieve what we did on the June 25th, we need unity of purpose. And lazima, we've been decentralized to an extent where we're not doing anything. Kuongea ukweli. There are things we could do that were very simple but would be very impactful. Point in case, for instance, just writing letters to people. If you go back to when at the height of the protests, anything the government said, people would write letters to refute them as we the people. So mtu kama Sabina Chege, when she introduces the horticultural bill or whatever, you write a letter to her. Madam Sabina Chege, we the people know what you're doing and are against it. Would like you to withdraw the bill. Ikuwe ni personal. Vile wanatu affect maisha yetu personally. Ikuwe ni personal. It's not about going into the bandwagon with Morara peke yake. Because what happens when Morara, if anything happens to Morara, because Morara is not God. When people correct Morara, it's not that people are against him. But Morara also is capable of making mistakes, and he has made clear mistakes. Kuna mahesabu waingiani na hamtatulazimisha. But the reality is, if he is pointed in the same direction we are going, we will collectively support him. Hamna mambo ya, there is no Messiah that is coming to save us. It must be a collective effort. And it must be selfless. Ndio, kuna wengine baina yetu hapa. They want to go into politics and all of this. But kesho, we will be on this other side telling you the same things. It's not about, we need to get out of the mobilization stage and start organizing. Because we cannot live in this stage throughout the revolution. It's time to come up with structures and ideas and ways to enact with them and build bridges with not only the Gen Z. Si mambo, it's not about us. Nyinyi pia lazima muelewe, si kuwahusu. Na ndio maana one of the things maandamano failed is because we disenfranchised the older generation. Uliwaambia kaeni nyumbani msikuje maandamano. It would have been very simple. Siku yote kuna maandamano, wanapika chakula wanatuletea. Inakuwa ni sherehe kabisa. But we made them an enemy as well. It's not about us. It must be about a better Kenya. Tafadhalini. Let us be very objective. Let us know what we want. See about wewe kukuwa MP ama mwenzako. No. It is about and for that to happen, it needs our energy and the wisdom of the older generation. Upende, usipende. That is the truth. Because some of them have pushed this na wamekwamia mahali. So ni sisi tukuje tubomoe ukuta, lakini watueleze ni wapi kuna crack. So let us not put too much effort in things that are in chasing shadows. Kuongea ukweli. As a people, sisi, as a collective, we said we were tribeless. We said we were leaderless. But we had a singular focus, and that was good governance, accountability, and Ruto must go. Kama uko na ya nne, hiyo ni yako personal. But hiyo tatu ilikuwa ni yetu sote. And we must die on that hill. So tafadhalini, stop putting just because wewe hautaki kuchukua responsibility, 50 yako is not enough to buy the freedom in this nation. Kumtumia Morara and expecting him to carry the burdens of you and your forefathers is not right, and it is not fair. Any time, juzi, the other day when Morara was arrested, Adani was in court. How many of you knew that? Wangapi wenu hata walishughulika na hiyo? Nchi inauzwa na watu wako mahakamani. Everybody was running after our brother Morara, and it's not a bad thing to stand with him, but we must also be objective. It must never be about an individual. If you look at what happened in Senegal, Sonko had a list of about 8 to 10 people who, in case he was arrested or one of them died, they were to succeed each other. And some of them had different ideologies. Some of them were communists, some of them were socialists, but they all wanted a better country, which was Senegal. And they got it because they put their differences aside. Wewe unaweza saidia wapi? That's the most important question, Sai. Wewe, in your personal capacity, what are you doing? How are you pushing this wheel forward? Because kama sisi wote tutaenda nyuma ya Morara tumsukume, if he makes a mistake, tunakufa naye wote. If anything happens to him, it dies with him. And I personally don't see any problem with what he's doing, but kuna points of differences kidogo. And for a better tomorrow, as we collectively went to the streets, we must also collectively stand up to take responsibility. Tuanze na hizo vitu ndogo ndogo, tuandikia hawa watu mabarua. Write a letter to the ambassador of the US. Write a letter to the people of Palestine. Write a letter to the people of Ngorongoro, hawa Masai ambao wanahamishwa Tanzania. Get support throughout the continent.
Farah,
Yes.
I like your contribution. They're amazing. The speaker panel is full, and the requests are so many. I don't
I'm
want
winding up,
anyone who
actually.
has. Okay.
So get these letters to people of goodwill. And the next time you say you're coming out to the streets, it's not an affair amongst ourselves, but you have continental and global support. Thank you.
Okay, I think Data Active was next, then Daktari. Kindly 3 minutes, kindly. Thanks, Farah.
Thank you, Toria. KOT, nothing. Everyone who is here, everyone who has spoken, we really appreciate you taking the time to give your views. We do not take that for granted. I want to speak to our current food situation, the problem, the solution, and what we are doing about it. The problem is that this government doesn't care about you. The food that you currently consume, you grow it yourself. With the agricultural bills that they're about to introduce, they are going to take so much away from you. What they are playing is the politics of poverty. And I'll give you a scenario. During the Finance Bill 2024, those MPs who voted yes could not go to their constituencies. But a certain MP decided he needed to go. And so he bought a bale of unga and went home with it. And his constituents welcomed him because he came with unga. That, ladies and gentlemen, is poverty, is politics of poverty. It is the same politics that this government played during the same finance bill when they decided to tax bread, yet they know 15 million Kenyans in this country are food poor. That, by the way, is 2 of every 5 Kenyans, about 40%. Let that marinate for a bit, yeah? And that is just a tiny aspect of what will happen if any of these bills goes through. So what we are doing about it is a movement called Kilimo cha Haki. It is there to fight these bills, all of them. But we cannot do it alone. We need your help. We need your help to ensure that these bills, none of them see the light of day. And the same way we are fighting these bills is the way we need to fight all these other bills. Alan has talked about the ICT bills. And we need to keep an eye on these other bills, which they don't want us to see. These guys are very good in the art of misdirection. Yet the other day they were doing the impeachment, and yet the Adani case was going on. They let you watch one hand, while the other hand is where the trick is. Let's not let them do that with these bills. So next, Daktari is going to talk about Kilimo cha Haki and tell us what it's all about. So that for me is my submission. Guys, please support us, because there is no profession where you need a professional 3 times a day. The only profession you need 3 times a day is the farmer. And they want to take that away by introducing things like ensuring that a farmer is licensed to grow a crop, which is ridiculous. Yeah. So because of time, let me please allow Daktari to continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daktari.
Hello, thank you, Toria. Thank you, KOT. I hope you can hear me. All right. Thanks, data analyst, also for what you have said. Dr. Duncan Onyango of Kilimo cha Haki, the co-convener of Kilimo cha Haki. I hope most of you have seen what we are doing outside there on Kilimo cha Haki, together with my very good sister, Mary Kathomi, who has been all over media platforms from TikTok to LNN, breaking down these issues to the farmer. So the Kilimo cha Haki is a lobby group of that we have founded for bringing together farmers from the country, but not only farmers. It has brought together also friends of farmers, different professionals that support farmers, and generally all Kenyans of goodwill who are keen about what we are eating. There are issues to do with indigenous seeds and food varieties that the laws seek to prohibit. And there are issues to do with pesticides and GMOs and many things just around our food. So we want to be very careful with what we eat, and what legislations are coming to Parliament to seek to control our food and our food production. So the movement is very active. Right now, I think the numbers are running into thousands and upon thousands of Kenyans who have come across from all the country. We the press conference, I think 1.5 weeks ago, and we have planned to present a petition, to have a march. Actually, we're going to have a peaceful protest for farmers and the Kenyans of goodwill who want to stand with us, for those who care about our food. We were supposed to have the march last week, but because of the ongoing impeachment, we were not able to secure police protection for the march. So we were advised to wait until the impeachment motion is finalized, and then we are able to do the march, because many people will be turning up. Actually, in the course of a few days ago, I received calls from some farmers kutoka mashinani wakatuambia we need to have to make the march a countrywide activity so that everyone across the country can participate. So at the moment we are able to secure a date tomorrow, and then you will be able to see a lot of publicity about it. But meanwhile, we've also done a lot of content out there to try to break down these things to the locals, to the farmers, so that we can all understand where we are coming from. But the bottom line is that we are having a failed political system. That is why we are even talking about our food. Because when you see the Ministry of Agriculture come out and distances itself from these bills, and they are saying these are privately sponsored bills, private members' bills, that these bills have not originated from the Ministry of Agriculture. So you ask yourself, what business, for example, does Sabina Chege have? She is not an agriculturalist. She to bring up a privately sponsored motion about horticultural or about horticulture. Where did she get the script? Who drafted that bill? Because it did not originate from the technocrats at the Ministry of Agriculture. The CS said they don't even know about that bill. So then the question we must ask Sabina Chege is what informed her bill? Who did the technical part? Who drafted that bill for her and gave it to her to take to Parliament? And after our march on, after we do the protest, we have actually, we are teaming up lawyers, public interest litigators to come forward. Actually, we already have a number who have responded. We are going to sue Parliament. We are going to sue even the private members who are sponsoring those bills. So Sabina Chege will be personally sued for her role in that bill, and she has to tell Kenyans who sponsors the bill. Who did? She's not an agriculturalist. I think she used to be an actress, or she must be a journalist or a communication person. So that bill has a lot of technical stuff related to agriculture. So we want to know who is behind those bills. So any member of Parliament who has brought in such bills will also be personally liable. We will also sue them individually to take responsibility for those bills. But above all, let's beware as we proceed with this fight. The political system is what we are fighting. That is the bottom line. If we had a proper governance system, we would be complaining about our food. So sorry, my brother KOT, for the division they are trying to sow. We are going to see more of this, by the way. When they saw that the team was getting organized, Morara is now trying to transform himself from an individual movement to a people's party, inject. They very quickly have activated their propaganda machinery. So this small issue may just be a propaganda machinery from government, and we are going to see more of this. So that is why I believe we need strategic organization. We need strategic minds that will sit down and organize this movement. As one of my colleagues here said before, I think one of the speakers that went before, we need to transition from the mobilization stage into a stage of serious organization, strategic, well calculated, because so that we can transform the movement from a Morara movement, from a one-man Vampire Diaries movement, to a people's movement. The same way we would rally behind Baba and go to Uhuru Park and declare him the people's president. I think when Baba crossed over, he naturally lost that title. We need a people's person. We need a people's movement led by a people's president, you know? So we really must convert this movement into a people's movement so that we embrace it. We need people to be bold and come out like KOT has done and told us he wants to become MP. We need more of such so that people can sit and strategize. We need to have a strategy to counter propaganda. We need to have people guiding us, mentors and psychotherapists and any professionals that can help us to be able to build that thick skin, to be able to stand against any powers and principalities of the enemy, so to speak. Any propaganda machinery that shall be fashioned against this movement, we must be able to build resilience so that we can be able to support it. So thank you so much, KOT. I know I'll be looking for you. We sit down somewhere as we usually do, have some coffee as we talk about this. but let us know that the government is out there to scuttle this movement. If we are not careful, the same tactics they used to scuttle the street protests, they will employ even greater strategy to try to divide this movement so that we do not make a step forward. So let us not be distracted. Let us not be divided. We are not joining Kalonzo. If he wants to join us and support us, he is welcome, but we are not going to rally behind him because he is part of the old regime that has brought us where we are. In fact, he is standing in the way of the formation of IEBC. I would even propose that we should start a campaign against anyone who has presented a useless case in court that is delaying the formation of IEBC. Because that body needs to be constituted, we need to go for election. Finally, brothers and sisters, one thing that should be our target is that there's a time we had a space and it was the grand takeover of political leadership. One target, the most important target that we should have, even before we talk about presidency, parliament, we should be able to overhaul that parliament and take it over, because that is where we have failed. The same way parliament is now handling the DP, that is the same way they should be handling the president. And I keep telling people, vile wale wa MCAs wa Meru wanasumbua yule madam governor wao, that is the same position parliament is supposed to play to the president. But our parliament is a rubber stamp, walijisalimisha. So that house should be completely swept. So I don't know who, in addition to KOT, wants to go into that parliament to help us do the sweeping. This is the time to come out. We sit down, we strategize. If we have a presidential candidate, if Morara is serious and we are convinced as a people that we want to rally behind him, of course, there will be many other candidates who will who may show interest. We will be democratic enough to be able to sit down and agree on who is the best candidate to represent us. We are not going to force down the throats of anyone or anybody down the throat of people. So we sit down, we strategize, we agree you are our candidate, but we must target those 290 constituencies. That house needs to be taken over. If not all, we should have at least 2/3. MCAs hata tulisema hata wazee wasijaribu. There is no business electing a 70-year-old to be an MCA in the village. That position should be left for some Gen Z, some young people, fresh graduates, so that once they could practice nayo as they come up, as they prepare to climb the political ladder to MP, to all other higher positions. So there's nothing those old people have done for us. We will learn on the job. All that we need now is to strategize. So let's come together, ladies and gentlemen, and do what we have to do. Thank you.
Okay, Doc, thank you for the counsel.
Nothing kidogo. Nothing kidogo. Daktari, you've actually answered one of the questions I used to ask KOT, because why had these bills? Why would someone who brought them up? And now I think my question is answered. Thank you. But guys, please kindly take 3 minutes. Nothing, back to you.
We're going to give DK gift.
All right.
And the rest of you, the speaker panel is full, but you'll get an opportunity. We want to hear your voices.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, Dr. Victoria, Marvo. Glad to see everyone on the speaker panel and on the listeners panel. Whenever I speak on any space, I never wish to assume that everybody has ever listened to me before. So I always love to start by introducing myself. Sorry, my name is DK Gift. I am a creative design, digital marketing and communications consultant. I'm also a young, recently redeemed from self-inflicted political ignorance, young Kenyan, especially by the great work that was done by young people back in June and in July. Back in June, I always say this, as a moment of joke, because I, like many other millennials who are probably here and others are not, were the type that chose to give a blind eye to good governance, accountability, and all that, in as far as the political scene is concerned. But the sweat that was dropped and the blood that was shed on the 25th of June has come to really do to do something different for the most of us. The other thing I want to say before I share my thoughts for today is, though I continue to be on a space break, especially from where I come from as a part of Home Run with PP, whenever I've seen in the last 24 hours, whenever I've seen any spaces that we have with KOT, I've wanted to jump up here to give my words of encouragement to him and to every one of us who's been working with him before, during this revolution, and even after it, as we continue to be. KOT, I give you your flowers and I continue to give you your flowers. I can't even say enough of what you've done. Everybody knows it, so big up to you. The last thing I'll say when it regards to you is, wewe ambaye umekaa hapo unasikiza hii sauti yangu, that knows someone, or you are the someone who seems to think that they have the ability to pick their phone and look for a parent, a mother, or a father to instill fear in them. Shame on you. Shame on you and everything that is called your own. Shame on you, shame on your children, shame on your offspring, shame on your generations. Forevermore. You lack discipline, you lack simple humanity. If you can pick your phone to look for a parent and give them a sleepless night. I just came from seeing the tweet that had the X post from KOT, and I am imagining a mother seated saying, I am in fear. Shame on you. And I leave it at that. Like I've said, I never boast to be a very politically knowledgeable person. I am learning from both my age mates and my older brothers who have been doing this, and sisters such as Toria and so many others who've been on this journey longer than I have. But I'm going to share my two sentiments in the shortest way possible that I will be able to. Now imagine a situation where young people hold the majority in both the National Assembly and the Senate. Now, I want you to take a minute and just picture that in your mind. I know a lot of us have continuously been making the picture of turning the presidency around. And of course, we want to turn it. But I want you guys to take just a second and imagine and picture the taking over of the National Assembly, whether it is the senators or the MPs. Imagine with all this energy, all these fresh ideas, all this commitment we have to seeing accountability and good governance. Imagine just how much we can reshape legislature and the executive branches of our government. The reality is very, very clear. We all know it. 70% of us, the population is under 30. That's very clear, and we know it. We have the numbers. It is the exact time that we should be able to demand right now for a real change by what we are doing. In the past two elections, if you check them, they've been mad with different things. 2017 was nullified, and we had to go back to its serious irregularities. Fast forward to 2022, we witnessed a lot of allegations as far as biasness is concerned and poor management of the whole process. All right. And to make this for us to be able to make accountability, transparency, independency of IEBC work, then we have to engage ourselves in all levels of governance. And that's what we should be thinking a lot about right now. All this bickering, all this talking, all this, Murara said this, am I agreeing to him? Am I not agreeing? Kasmol is now telling us to get off his mat, being arrogant, not being arrogant. Who really cares? We must encourage ourselves and all our peers to get involved, whether it's local councils, national politics. Voter registration must be streamlined. I've just loved what I've heard from Kenyan Lady. And Kenyan Lady, you best expect a message from me. KOT will tell you I'm the kind of person who leads by being first foot front. So I'm going to look for you because I'm amazing at doing communications on digital and creating campaigns. And whatever you just talked about Dr. Kijana is such a beautiful campaign. And I'm going to look for you because of that one. We need to be able to talk about this. Drive civic education in schools, universities, technical institutes. We need to target those 16 to 18-year-olds, those young adults, and make them understand their rights and their responsibilities as citizens. The last thing I want to say, because I want to respect Torres' request for us to be as short as possible. I'm sure I'm almost at my 3 minutes. I want to be categorically clear. Me, DK Gift, I am saying this. We cannot afford to partner with anybody who is of questionable character from this particular region or any past regimes. I refuse to subscribe to this line of thought. It is true that we can learn a lot from the older, but I don't see how I am going to learn anything besides theft from an older thief. I am not going to go to a thief and try to tell them to show me how to be a better person, because the best they can show me is to be a thief. Of course, there are some of them who are there, the Okiom Tatas and some, who are credible, who are worthy for me giving an ear to them. But all these other Sijokina mothers and Kalonzos and Nini, if I have questionability of your character, I am not having a conversation with you. And it is not about refusing to accept that people have a past. This is not about a past. This is about the fact that you've never even owned up and be accountable of what you have done wrong. So we cannot settle for a lesser devil to fight a bigger one. This fight is about integrity, it's about justice and the future of our nation. We need leaders who are genuinely representing our values and aspirations. And I've had so many people tell us that this is a dream, or we are dreaming, or this will never happen. You know what? It is that kind of thought that has us here. It is that kind of thought that led so many of you and me onto that ballot on 2022, choosing a lesser devil than a bigger one, because of that line of thought. Check yourself, change your mind. This is not about finding a messiah. This is about finding change. Have a lovely night. It was lovely to talk to each one of you. And again, KOT, the Lord bless you and keep your family safe and keep everybody, one of you safe. And I will repeat it again. Shame on you and everything that you have if you have the guts to actually go threatening a parent. Have a lovely night.
Thank you, DK, for sure you're a gift. Reach out to Kenyan Lady and let's get that rolling out. Thank you for your contribution. We're going to have KD.
Oh, hey. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes,
Somebody
KD,
hear
you
me?
can hear you.
Thanks. I was just
Hear
confirming.
you.
So,
Hear you, sir.
thanks. Thank you, everyone who's here. Thank you for the words of conscience. We have 10 commandments, and there's only one commandment that talks about God and man. It's the only commandment that has a promise. You don't mess around with a parent. So that's my first take. And that's not my commandment. It comes from God himself. You have to honor your father and mother. So if you touch someone's mom, don't for any reason think I'm going to have a good relationship with you, because you'll still do the same with my mom. And I would not want my children to have the same experiment or experience through somebody else. You have to honor the fourth commandment. So whoever these guys are, you ask yourself if one day you'll be called someone's mother or father, and think about how your children would feel if someone would text you with death threats. It's very disrespectful. Yeah, I appreciate everyone who's here and all the fights, and the factions, and the differences, the disagreements, the times we spend trying to find answers to questions, some of which you don't have any experience. But I believe it's through the failures that we find our paths. It's not the number of times you fall, but the number of times you get up. The only thing I would want to request is choice of words is very important, and it's very expensive. If somebody would ask me what has chewed up the vice president, it's not even because of his scandals, but because of how he articulated his words. So yes, you can do something wrong, but you have to be very cautious on how you communicate, because it actually tells a lot about your personality. The choice of words is very important. You can either create calm or bring a lot of chaos in a certain way. And for everybody who calls yourself a leader, KOTs and the Muraras and etc. and people I don't even know, even you who are speaking on this space because you're a leader, people are listening to you. They say the word think has its own acronyms, and I think the first thing you have to do is just try and listen to yourself before you open your mouth, because it takes 35 seconds to make a mistake. It takes forever for you to regret what you said. And for me, that has bothered me a lot, whether it was true, hypothetical, or a lie. Already once it's out there, you cannot manage the situation. So, niombi too, you have to be very cautious on what you actually tell someone who's listening to you, because you're a role model in your own way. And then lastly, there is a lot we need to learn. And I think you're losing track. This is just my perspective. We have elders, the people before us. We have tribes and we have classes. And it's not by design that you are, I always say it's not a design you are born Kenyan. It's not by design you are born whatever gender you are in. And it's not by your own choice that you are born in whatever tribe. God had a reason. So it's very unfortunate when I find us fighting on these classisms and religion, tribe, age. It just sounds wrong. We need each other. But that doesn't mean I'm supposed to fall into classes of being entrapped by someone like how we have been all our lives. There's a reason why my mother is not my age. They are older than me for a reason. There's something they know that I don't know. But that doesn't mean if my mother is a drunk, I should also be a drunk. There are things I can actually sober up and say, no, I'm not going to go this direction. So in that line, there are leaders we have ahead of us whom we may not like because of their pasts. But I don't tend to say we should not work with them. My problem is they should not come and tell us what we need to do. Only a sober leader will be able to listen to what we say and get to work together. But if somebody comes to us with a notion of, no, you have a bicycle, I have a Mercedes, so I don't have to ride on your bicycle, then that's not a good leader. When Morara was arrested, they came to us. They supported us, and they just need to actually give that back. The leaders we have in power right now in parliament, those are not leaders. They're not people I can team up with. So it's within our conscience, which is what we have that they do not have. They don't have conscience.
KD.
Let me just land. Let me land, please. Let me land.
No, I need you to look at the hypocrisy that they are posting Agema Akikuyu Kamba ticket, and the Kamba is Kalonzo Musyoka.
If you had let me finish, you'd get my point. If you had let me finish, you'd get my point.
Okay, finish.
Because I've been in all these spaces. Yes. What I was saying is this. The one thing you have that they don't have is conscience. And you have a right to make the right choice. No one should tell you what to do. You have a conscience, clear mind to know what is right and what is wrong. But you cannot slam the door on everyone and say, no, we are not going to work with you because you're 10, 15 years older than me. I've been on spaces. Myself, I'm a half tribe. So tell me if my mother is Giriama and my father is Masai, and Masais are fighting and saying we own this nation. How am I going to hate Giriamas? It doesn't apply. We are not fighting a tribal war. So when you come to tell me about endorsing nothing because she's from tribe X, I'm not going to buy into that. Unless her principles actually merge up with what I'm thinking of having a better future, that's a different story. That's why I said the most important word that should ride in our minds is conscience. And that is what we should live on. Then my last point, let us not dwell so much on what they did because that is how they are beating us. While we are here talking about what they did, they are planning on what they will do next. So waste your time thinking of how do we get to counter. There's a guy called Felix who's spoken very well, and I think I liked his points because he was focusing more on what we need to do next. I think that can be a good discussion for us to think of how to counter because they're talking of 2027, 2032. What are we doing? We're still talking about impeachments and stuff like that. Then now when it start thinking of how we need to do A, B, C, and D, we can bring in some of the things that we need to co-join and make us have a better tomorrow instead of dwelling on the yesterdays. Thank you.
Thank you, KD, for your contribution. We appreciate. We are not against tribe. What I'm saying is that these guys have already formed their alliance. They're selling the notion that we should allow 30% of old people and 70% can be young people. But in this 30%, according to them, they want the presidency and the vice president. That is where we drew the line. Thank you. We're going to have Frederick.
Hello, guys. Hello, man.
Hi, Frederick. We hear you.
Yeah,
We hear you.
I will be much briefly. Yeah, yangu na kuongelea about kuaji vijana waweze kuchukua ID. It is better for vijana. Kuna wale hawana zile documents. I think we should be there to support them. Maregistrar ndio tuweze hao vijana wetu waweze kupata kura kwa sababu we have the numbers, we are many because vijana hajakuwa kitake part ya kuvote, so the change vijana ndo taleta change, so we need to urge them and support them waweze kuchukua ID na pia waweze kuregister kupiga kura kwa sababu sisi tuko na numbers. I know that we are capable of doing great things. The time is here and we should not wait to be told that we are the leaders of tomorrow. The time is here and the change will come immediately right now. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Frederick, for keeping it short and very impactful. We appreciate you. There are so many requests and we want to give everyone an opportunity to speak. Biribo Jr., kindly take it away. Biribo, can you hear me? If you can't hear me, can we have Dutch Chokers? Dutch.
Oya, KOT mnanisikia na toli hapo? Hello?
Tunakusikia.
Okay, naitwa Dot. To start with, let me say, mimi hapa nashangaa too much talking without action. Na mimi nauliza swali moja, ni uoga mlinunua atakuuziwa na wao ama what is not happening? Are we gonna watch our country burn tupate tukizidi kuongea. Are we gonna let them destroy our future as we vote? Nataka for me, I'm the glove guy. Mimi wale majamaa unasikianga. And sorry to tell you, I'm the kind of a guy whereby hao wanasiasa wakitaka machokora wakivuruga amani fulani, mahali fulani, wananiambia hebu tupatie vijana kama Toani ama sisi wakurusha mawe mahali fulani. And then
looks like we have lost him. Or Dutch, we can't hear you. Let's have D Uno.
Hey, good
Dutch, sorry, we can't hear you. D Uno, proceed.
Yes, here I am. So good evening, guys. So I will go directly to my points. Number one, KOT nimekuinbox a number of times na kuna zenye umereply na kuna ingine nilikutext some, I think ni jana. Please check your inbox. But thanks Ama KOT. I've been following you ever since June 24th, if I'm not wrong. And I can say you have been one of the pinnacles zenye may boost this movement. And I love you. I love the way you are so umekuwa so much vibrant with regards to addressing the issues and even being at the forefront of this movement. One thing that I think maybe people have forgotten is the day that Ruto alikuwa amehost ile meeting sijui akisema nataka kubonga na Wakenya, and I like the way you really addressed him fearlessly, and I think we really need 1,000 people like you. So kudos sana kwa kitu nimekuwa kidu. And this also goes to the people who have been speaking bad about you. And I will cast all the blames on this lady and Anajita Siji Aoko and whatever. She's the alianza nyo shida. So if we're to rebuke those people, let's start with the person who actually alianza hiyo story. And we need to rebuke her with everything, with every fiber of our being, because yena na cause division. But I don't think this is time that we should really push for these divisions anymore. I think we should go now to the real things. Tumekuwa tukiongelea about akina kama akina Kasmuel. Those people have proven not to be faithful. Huyo ni kaa pilot. I mean, we don't even need to concentrate on those people. And I remember the express that we hosted on 25th of June. We knew after all those bloodshed and those people, I live near to Githurai, and I can tell you the truth, you guys, more than 150 people were killed and disposed to in very many places, including city mortuary, whereby you couldn't number the number of people who are taken there by with those police lorries and all that. But all said and done, I want to congratulate some few people. First of all, I salute Sana OG Calligraph Jones for what he did when he had about Morake Baso's arrest, and he pushed his own recording akasema, hey, just to recognize there is someone that we are really acknowledging in this country, and it's a very good thing. So I really acknowledge him. And me, I'm a person of faith. So another person I'm going to salute, because we as a church to Limesi nation, and it is high time that we amend our method. But the fact is, not everyone will agree with me, because the people who are in our pulpits wanatuselea hizi ufala na hizi mjinga yote. So I would really like to congratulate Reverend Kiama mwenye alikuwa anasema, by the this government is the government of Mashetani, and I will put it this way. Here Pashetani ni Ruto, and I will not support it, and I hope one of the government people wenye wanasikizanga hizo wanasikiza na akitaka kuja kunitafuta kuja nitafute. Ruto is the devil himself. because Ruto is so smart, and Ruto is not going to back down easily. Unity is key. And our saying Wakona Morara, please let us stand for Morara. But I strongly feel and I agree with what Farah Mesema and the Kenyan lady. Right now, I try to focus on who is with us and who is not with us. If you are in the movement, let's go with the movement. Atuna time sija kuangalia who is for us. And hii kitu from June to 5th, there are some people wataingizwa uoga, kuna watakuwa bot ule sa whatever mwenye alihost hiyo meeting ya Ruto. Definitely it was to lead to that. But it is high time that, and we knew Kenyans forget very fast, and that's one somehow a number of Kenyans who were even in the streets wenye tulikuwa tumeenda kwenda kuandamana pale tao, many of them wameingizwa uoga, and some of them wameanza kukashifu our movement. But right now, just like a number of you guys have shared, right now tusiangalie Morara. I know Morara is the person that amesema enda kusema for presidency, and you are going to give him the full support financially. Me hata kama itakuwa huko ni physically, I will go there. By the way, I just learned I think yesterday that KOT went in neighbor yangu, and that's why I was asking you if you could come and have a cup of tea in my place. But I understand the security issues around you is very key. So whenever you feel free to come and see me, or you can even tell me where I joined that we can meet and have a coffee, a cup of coffee, and we address a number of issues, because meaning I feel we need to push a lot of things. Now, Kasmil, I'm going to deal with Kasmil in Migori, because I understand it came to my knowledge that Andakovai for I think new governor and new MP in Migori, and I'm going to deal with him there because that is my constituency. Though I currently live in Nairobi, naishi hapa just around Wendani. But guys, it is high time we to strategize what is going to next. Right now, what we're supposed to be speaking about in the reformation or the calling of IEBC, because our answer, our solution somehow is inclined to that, because the moment, and I don't know, is there any MP that we can find mwenye just like Morara Kwame suggest, is there an MP that we can find mwenye tena tu kufile tu your motion ya kuimpeach Ruto, and we just get it from there? We just trust Morara na Kenya amesema, because I believe we still, Morara and I being one of them, I am still in support of what the movement that you are currently taking. So guys, maybe I'm going to, there are two things I'm going to deal with. First of all, the church, because I'm a person of the faith, and number two, I'm going to deal with Kasmuel, and number three, since I also do a bit of creatives, I'm a creative, I do spoken words, and I also write for people songs. And it's high time, I think, not to see a live night on Mara, because now you can see even the security threat that is upon him. It is up to us to jaribu kutoa live night kwake, though sasa tunajaribu kumtoa ati tunamtoa from his ambitions. No, he's still there, but we really need to bring more Moraras. Hata kama watavive, I agree with one of you mwenye kwa nasema like KOT vile kama amesema anaenda anasik kusimama MP somewhere, which I don't know. I think we need more people of the same. But mine goes most to the creatives. I think creatives tumekuwa tukiongelea sana kwa camera, but hatujitoi kwa streets. And I think that is the reason why Morara became a bit worried when he was at the second time, because following yake ni 650k on TikTok, on X 250k, but when you show up for ground, and thanks to KOT, because we've been so solid on that. So I seriously believe.
Okay, Uno, you need to land.
Okay, in 15 seconds.
The speaker panel is full and there's so many requests. Kindly land. We thank you. Look out for KOT.
Please.
And
yes.
thank you for supporting KOT and Morara. We stand with the entire movement.
Yeah. KOT, check your inbox.
Asante sana, and thank you for being a good father, and say hello to them.
Sure.
Let's have a lady. I've seen, was it Ashley? I've seen a lady somewhere. Okay, Evelyn, it falls on you. I can't see the other lady. Evelyn, take it away. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for your submissions. Evelyn.
Hi, everyone. For me, what I wanted to say is, us as young people, we are losing focus. Fighting each other is giving politicians more time to plan. I think we should also be people who trust each other. When you fight Kioti and say he's a mole, you fight Morara. These things don't help us. They're all doing what they can in their capacity. And we must all also do what we can in our capacity. And I think by saying we should plan for IBCS, it's a good thing. But also we must consider thinking about how the MPs are thinking and senators. Like Ruto, they want to add the term limit. So I know even him, he knows that right now we are angry, and if we are given a chance to vote, we will bring him out. So they have a plan already. So we must also find a way on how we can deal with him now. I also agree with the guy who has left. Let's trust Morara and find an MP that can take the impeachment motion of Ruto, because I don't think he's that dumb to wait for 2027. So we as young people, we must focus, stay together, and think together. We are getting too many distractions nowadays. It's not like how we started. We need all hands on deck, everyone. And this thing of saying, oh, Morara is Gashagwa's person, I don't know who is who, we should all stop it, because one way or the other, we have also supported some other politicians. So we must stand together, care for each other, and support each other. And also about people not showing up when people get arrested, I feel when you're near someone and he is arrested, you must stand up for them. But also Morara must know he has followers, maybe some like me. I am from Twapa. I can't be for Morara physically, but I can give him support in another way when I can. So that's all I had to say. I'm having a problem with my throat, but that's my submission. Let's stand together, stay together, and stop arguing and focus on the main problem.
Wow, thank you, Evelyn. We appreciate your submission. And guys, learn from her. Let's keep it short so that we have everyone going. KOX, take it away.
Okay, thank you for having me. Hello? Hello? Hi.
Go ahead, please. KOX, are you there? Wait, Declan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear KOX?
No.
Okay, so Declan, go ahead. KOX. Yeah.
Okay. Do you hear me, Toria? Hello?
Your signal. KX, I'm not hearing you.
KOX, please just check on your network kindly and come back. We will issue the mic to you back. So, Declan, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Toria. Thank you to the previous speakers. It's nice to see the family back together. I know we haven't done Sauti of Wananchi for a while. And I wanted to complain at KOT, but I know it's been tough. It's been a rough past few days. And to be honest, he's been doing this thing for a while. So if he decides to take a week off or 2 weeks off indefinitely, who are we to complain? You know, the platform has been here. It's been here consistently. He's been doing it out of the love for his country. So I'm very thankful and grateful to him, and also to the people who assist running the Sauti of Wananchi, and to the people that fund it, and the people that are just here as well. I've been very heartbroken over the past few days just because of everything that's going on. I've not been on Twitter today. This is the first time I'm touching Twitter today. I've heard some previous speakers speaking about people, somebody has threatened somebody's parents. And if I put 2 and 2 together, I would think that maybe somebody has threatened KOT's mom or dad. If that's the case, I stand to be corrected. But from what I've heard inside this space now, just in the past hour, if that's the case, KOT, I'm very sorry. I hope your parent is fine. And yeah, EOC Kitunzuri. It's really bad. So I want to speak on a few points. And the first thing I'll speak on is the unity of the movement and the issue of bringing not just the older generation, but also some of the political class. So I think it started when there was a space with Tony Gashoka. Kenyan Lady was there, Rastan was there, there were a few other people who were there. I think Nothing, you were there as well. And Tony was trying to present the idea as to whether he should call some of his friends and allies who he feels can come and help us. And this came after the Gachagua thing. Now, I was very emotional about it, and I don't think I spoke very well, so he didn't really get my point. So I'd like to try and say it now, but guys like Kenyan Lady really, hit the nail on the head. The issue with the political class that's been there, bringing them in now, let me take somebody, for example, like Kalonzo. Kalonzo has been there since Kingdom Come. He has had his chance. If he wanted to save the country, he could have started a movement to save the country a very long time ago. He had the power, he had the influence, he had the opportunity. His silence and him not doing so is what makes me, as a member of this movement, skeptical to bring him in. You see, the issue with the people who want to bring in the political class, they want to bring them in as if they've not been there, as if they're in a different country, and now we are bringing them in and we are explaining to them, hey, this is what is happening, and this is how we want you to help us. But they live in Kenya. If anything, they're the ones who understand the issues that we're fighting against more than we understand them ourselves, because they are the ones who have either created the issue or been witnessing the issue at the forefront. Kenyan Lady explicitly explained that if somebody is to come from the political class to this movement to assist us, there is no problem. In fact, we want anybody and everybody who can help us. If the politicians wanted to help us, if they came all of them, na wangetusaidia, hii story ingeisha hata na siku mbili. Because if all of those MPs were on our side, si story ingekuwa imelala. But that is not the case. So now we are being told that if they are scared, wakikuja ati they'll say, we'll tutawatusi, tutawa what? No, we must build that bridge. Of course, lazima tuwatusi. We must hold you accountable for what you've done. And you must also accept accountability for those things that you have done before we do any kind of working together. You must build that bridge. You must establish the trust. And the trust is not there. That is the reason why we can't just quickly bring these people in. I am all for bringing them in, but only in such a way that they are here to serve the movement. If you come in and tell me you, as Kalonzo, you want to be the president of Kenya, and when I say Kalonzo, I don't just mean him individually, I mean anybody from the political class who would like to come in, and you tell me you want to be the president of Kenya, and you know the history of what is going on, and you know what we are fighting against, that shows me you're not here to serve the movement, you are here to serve your own political ambitions. And if that is the case, then we can't work with you. That is the issue we are facing with bringing in these people. As they come in, all I would like to say is let us look and analyze to see, is this person here to serve the movement? And also as ourselves, tukiendelea mbele, let us serve the movement. You know, I'm a big supporter of Marara. I'm not shy about that. And there's been a lot of disagreements,
Thank you,
there's no
Declan.
problem.
Declan, the speaker panel is full.
I'm landing. There's no problem. Everybody is supporting who they're supporting. But at the end of the day, the goal of those people you're supporting has to be serving the movement. So if you fighting for somebody is not serving the movement, then leave it alone. Let us focus on the movement and the movement itself. I think the biggest thing right now is IBC and the MPs. I feel like that's the biggest thing. And the last point, nothing, before Niache. There's a Daktari here who spoke on organization. Let us not lie to ourselves anymore that we can't be organized. Lazima tukuwe na organization. Hii mambo ya kusema ati let us just go, tutajua tukifika. It can't be that way anymore. Before we were mobilizing. Now we are acting. We have the numbers. Watu wako, now we need to give them direction. If we're not organized, then we'll start losing those people that we worked so hard to mobilize to get to this point. So let us not fear having structure and organization. When somebody proposes a motion of structure and organization in the movement, listen to them. And listen if that structure and organization they're proposing is serving the movement. If it is serving the movement, then support them in building that structure and organization. I land. Asante.
Thank you, Declan. We want Mwangi on the speaker. Declan, the speaker panel is so full. We thank Mwangi I take it away. Declan,
sorry, were you addressing me? You were breaking up. I didn't hear. Nothing. Were you talking to me?
there. Toria, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Nothing. I can clearly hear you. So, Ndovu, go ahead, please. Your hand is up. Ndovu, kindly. Ndovu, are you there?
There was Mwangi. Mwangi Wanyanya has been here for the longest. Let's give him a chance. Mwangi, can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear me now. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mwangi, we can hear you. Just proceed, please.
Okay, correct. Thank you for this opportunity. I want to be very brief. I think
yes,
I
we
just
can
want
hear
to
you.
share. Yes, I want to just share something in the area that I strongly feel has a lot of opportunity for us as young leaders. And I think we have a big opportunity to change this parliament. I was imagining of a case where if we presented ourselves and familiarized ourselves with the ground, and we are known as, for those who are interested in being members of parliament, as early as now, because if we shy away, the current sitting members of parliament and those ones that probably were their biggest competitor are already candidate by default. So we are new people, but there is something that has happened on the ground. And I said somewhere, I happen to be going around because I visit a lot of groups, I do a lot of trainings in the area of agriculture. And because it is an area that touches everybody, I have felt that many people are frustrated by the current parliament. And so if we strategized and strategically placed ourselves in a way that our name starts going out as an individual, you who feels you are a person of integrity, if your name can go round and let people know you, so that even if this government fell today, we don't fall into the traps of people electing the same old people, because people vote in the lines of familiarity, the people they know. The only time they can vote for a person who is not very prominent and familiar is if that very familiar person and very prominent person uses bad language, undermines another person. And I want to give a very good example. The reason unto why, because I am in Meru County, the reason unto why Kiraito Murongi lost the other election, it was not because of party. He lost because he used very bad language the last minute. He actually said that votes are never casted, votes are counted. And in his voting career or in his leadership career, he has never lost a single election. So he can't even lose this one. Very angry with that. And they actually say they are going to embarrass him with a woman. And that is actually how the Meru governor was elected. So there are two things there. It was not, Kawera was not the very strong candidate. But the language of the masculine, the language and the masculinity of that leader created an opportunity for others. Now, the same scenario is happening in our country. You can hear me? KOT, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Just proceed, please.
Okay. Yeah, the same scenario is happening in our country. The current lot of members of parliament has angered Kenyans. And majority of Kenyans don't want the arrogance with them in parliament. And I want to say here, this is not the last time we are going to see members of parliament making the citizens angry. We have another 2 years to go also. They will have that chest thumping and that arrogance to the end because they have the money. They feel they are on top of everything. I strongly feel there is going to be a sympathetic kind of voting for the Gen Z. And what I mean by the Gen Z is even the millennials or a young and new face of leadership. But that new face of leadership must stand out, must start coming out, because the current face of leaders is full of arrogance and Kenyans are tired with that. Actually, people are saying we don't need their money. And if they give us the money, we will vote for that other person who they want change. They want new faces. So my mobilization in this platform this evening is this one. Let anyone who feels that they can take up members of parliament or MCA, let them try and make themselves familiar with the ground. How do you do that? Because of interest of time, let me just use very little words and summarize that. Identify the table banking groups that are in your area. And it is high time, guys, we got out of town. Let us meet in the spaces, but we can also be in the spaces when we are in the village. Take time. I have been meeting boda guys in the shed anywhere. I stop the car. If I see five boda Buddha guys, I talk to them. I talk to them in the area that affect them so because Meru is heavily agriculture. People get angry. People feel now, Mwangi, what are we going to do about this? Who is that person who is going to liberate us? And I tell them, we are behind a young leadership. But you see, we are also shy. We are not willing to take the front step or the front seat. We want to be behind, and we concentrate so much on the critics on social media. Let us be action-oriented leaders. And in as much as we are young, we can learn in our own way. We don't have to learn the old way. Because nobody expected young people to be out there in the streets. It was not imaginable. So even the political arena this time round, it is favoring us. And people are saying they don't have to come with money. So please, my fellow young people, let us present ourselves, and it is not too early. Because already the sitting and the former stronger candidate for the either whatever seat, his name is already out there. We need to start hearing names being mentioned. Lastly, it's on about us having a structure. I strongly feel there are those people who feel like Morara is doing the wrong thing. I have never met Morara myself, but I'm a big supporter of him and what he's doing. I hate those people who are trolling him because then they should fashion a certain way of leadership. And then we follow the way I'm fashioning a certain way of leadership, and I'm having followers. I am going to places. I am not actually a Marian, but because I can speak both languages, Kikuyu and Meru, very fluently, I teach them in their language. And they listen to me because I know I don't want to rate myself so much, but I know I'm a good speaker. I can speak and people can listen to me. So I use that firmness and authority and talk to people about the punitive things this government is doing. And that way they ask me, and it is in Meru, would you mind being our member of parliament? So let us have a frontline people. And by the way, if you go that route, you may not even find yourself in difficulties with other people. But I wish to mobilize us in this platform that whoever is for this cause, let you be known and seen by functioning as such. Leadership is not positional primarily. Leadership is functional. Let us function as so, and then we will get positional leadership. So that was my take. And then the last one, the final part of now that part of forming the structure, for those who are not for Morara and you are for probably change, I want to mobilize you and tell you Morara has a party inject. I feel I'm part of that. I wish you could have a party and tell us, and it has a direction of change. At one point in 2027, we will come together because remember, presidential votes are won by more than 50 plus one, I think something like that, and 25% of every county. But we need now to have people on the ground. That is what is going to change everything. And do not fear. So that is what I wanted to say. Thank you for this opportunity. God bless you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. You've really done well, and we've heard you. Esther, are you there? Esther? Esther, okay.
Yes.
Okay, kindly talk to us.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I don't know where you're listening from, but I really appreciate KOT, Toria, Nothing, anyone who is present for making your time present here. I always say that this is a platform that has given us as Kenyans a place of freedom of speech, and we really appreciate X. Elon Musk, kudos. Personally, I think I've put on my timeline, that is on X, that the only team that I've seen they are really consistent with what we are doing, I've just said is Morara and KOT Sonko, because sometimes I just feel like previous speakers very bad when things are just being said just to divide attention, and we really need our country and our nation to be accountable of what they are doing. And for me, I would say no retreat, no surrender. We are not relenting. And personally, I know I'm a Kamba, but I'm a Kenyan right now. I would not say I'm a Kamba right now, because that Kamba has been misquoted wrongly, especially out of Kalonzo and the rest who are doing funny things. And I would say, as a team, we need to remain with our mission and vision. The politicians who have been presently, we are not going to involve them because they're just the same. I do not think there's any difference with them and the ones who are already present. Kalonzo has been there. We have Raila, whom a lot of people had entrusted him, and he did what he did. So I do not think whether Kalonzo is changing anything. And we need new faces, people who have not been in the system, and that is how we are going to change our country. Personally, I'm looking into how we are going to ensure IBC is back into its system. And once that is present, because I can see Ruto is really looking into many things on how we can be ruling our nation country, Kenya, for many years. He doesn't want to get out of power. He wants to retain that power, which is against our constitution, because it's 2 terms. Right now is looking into maybe 7 years of term, and even in getting a prime minister, there's a lot that is ongoing about what Ruto is looking into. But I would say, us as citizens, we are not going to wait that to happen when we are watching. So that is only thing that I had to submit, that we are not relenting, and we are here until we see our country back, because Gen Alpha is coming, and we are hoping that they will find a system that is put into that is good fit for them. Asante sana.
Okay, welcome. We are not relenting, we are not retreating, we are not going to surrender. We keep pushing. We need a better tomorrow, and we all need the best for our country. We don't want to live as slaves. Yeah. Suju, you've been here for a while. Go ahead, please. Suju, please. Suju, are you there?
You can hear me?
Yeah, very loud and clear. And Ian, kindly mute your mic. So Suju, go ahead, please.
I'm very grateful for this space. And my name is Suji Rivaldo Otieno from Migori County. I'm still a student, a third year student. So I want to appreciate the creator of this forum for what he has done. You see, me sometimes I look at this country and it's like, sijui hata tunaishi wapi. Yeah, juicy, our MPs, you saw them, how they behaved when a concurrent matter with the no help for the nation was brought to the parliament. And you see how they walikuwa wanakimbia kunini. All of them were there. Only the few were not there. So when I saw that, I was disturbed. But on the other hand, the Adani deal is going. On the other hand, this SHA is going. On the other hand, we are suffering. Somebody like me, my portal usijui nini ilifanyika, scholarship haionyeshi, help haionyeshi. So I like how the young people have come to speak and the freedom of this nation through the constitution. So with me, according to me, I have my own foundation of the youth at our home in Migori, in a constituency called Suna East. I think you people know me, Junet. But the Junet Muhammad is my MP, that parrot MP who speaks more but is doing nothing, absolutely. So we as the people of Suna East, specifically a ward known as Gojope ward, we had come together and we had formed a youth forum whereby we want to pick a young person, absolutely under 30, to run for an MCA seat. We want to start from the ground place, because hiyo ya juu Juneta ameweka watu wake na magusi nini, so hiyo tunakuja polepole. So when we form the foundation, I'm sorry, my phone is going off. Please. Toria, may you pardon me, I plug my SIM.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you. May somebody continue a little bit?
Okay, General, kindly go ahead. General, kindly. General, are you there? General, you've opened your mic. Okay, go ahead, kindly.
Yeah, so what I want to tell our fellow patriots, like, this is a long way to go, and it requires very many things. First thing, we must be patient, because patience, it carries a lot of things. And the second thing I can talk about is integrity, because if we are moving on, we must move on with people we trust. And one person I trust that I've always supported movement from the day, if you remember June 25th, I always allowed my brother KOT for all that happened, because we were there on the ground and we saw what happened. So brothers, I want to tell you, like, brothers and sisters, there's a lot. This movement is going on, but you must know that the government is against this movement by all means, because this is the only way, tech space is the only way that the government feels like it is threatened, because this is the only way, like, people are getting information that they have never had in their life. So we must stand firm, and most importantly, we must be united. Unity will carry the day. That's why I always believe in my brother KOT. KOT, if one person, if you want to trust in a revolution, I'll call KOT, like, you must be in the front line. So there are a lot of things that are happening on the ground, but as far as we have moved up to now, there are a lot of intimidations. There are a lot of the abductions we have seen happening. When they released the 3 guys that were arrested from Kitengela, it was the KOT that made the noise. And we must just continue. There's no despairing. The far we have moved on, it is just sticking to ourselves and moving on with the same agenda, and there's no despairing. So brothers, what I can just give as a last submission is that you guys, we have a clear vision, and a clear vision is that we have bad governance, and bad governance is this guy called William Ruto. This is the enemy of progress. The people who like him just like him because of his tactics in politics, but in leadership it is zero. So because if it is zero, he must create each and every way to prove to this society that we are fighting to educate the civic education. We are always talking about civic education, taking it to the ground to tell the people on the ground that it is like this and like this. But William Ruto knows how to go to those people we are working to meet and manipulate them. So it is our responsibility, each and every person who is here. If you get a chance to talk in space, also have a chance to meet people on the ground and tell them the reality on the ground. Because this is what the government is afraid of. If we reach on the ground and we tell these people the truth, that's why you hear of arrests, intimidations, abductions, and whatsoever. So it's our responsibility. In a good way, it's like a sacrifice. You must sacrifice ourselves because it is this is a movement and a revolution, and no one who benefits from the bad governance always look forward to see a revolution, and we are bringing it, and there's no giving up. We are moving on in this journey. We are moving. We have betrayers. We will.
Hello, are you done, the general? Are you done? Hello?
General, I think we lost you. And kindly, kama umeongea drop.
Unless we'll have to go to
Give
the bed with the
me
instrumentals.
time.
They're the
It's my time to speak.
instrumentals. But as much as we are focused, I know we are heading there, but not all of.
Hello.
Yes, can I speak?
Kindly, can we have some decorum? People came here earlier. You can't just pop in and you skip the queue. So let's have Mweru next, please. Mweru Ndovu, then Magoiga. Oh my God. Yeah, Magoiga.
Hey, Tori, I'm so happy to see you back. I got to a point I wasn't seeing you in space. I was like, oh my gosh, you better be okay. I think
Thanks for checking up. I was really in a bad situation, but I'm back. We keep injecting.
yeah, welcome. So anyway, I have a few things I wanted to say, but there's one particular thing that I believe that as we proceed with these spaces and we go to different spaces, like I do, I call myself a space grasshopper. But my goal is to learn and take notes. So there's a few things, a few points that were raised in the last couple of days, or week rather. And one major point I wanted to highlight on is something Nothing has been pushing on. She proposed this about a week ago, and she said that as we continue with these spaces, so that we avoid being spread out and so split up when we have issues, we can easily identify people who have a passion for one particular issue, and then we delegate that task to focus on that to them. And then weekly, we can have us, or even if it's maybe bi-monthly, we have a space where people just come in and update us on and follow up on certain issues. So the way she proposed it was, the major issues we're facing, we have agriculture issues happening, we have the Adani issue happening, we have police brutality issues happening, and we can't even forget that we have also a constitutional issue happening where Omondi proposed the reform. All these things are things that we need to be paying attention to. We have to learn to multitask. So I really wanted us to focus on that and try to build on that too, and sort of find a way to, as we proceed with these conversations, we identify people and we create like a committee. So on to structure. 2 months ago when I started speaking in spaces, I proposed this, and I said we need structure. We need structure in the sense that now that you've seen the senior politicians want to join the movement, if we have structure, we can engage them with our own terms. because we have such structure to where we have established a code of conduct. We have established our own ideologies, and we can set the boundaries and the rules. At the moment, let's be realistic. What is happening in the movement? The movement is progressing naturally, but let's not. Personally, my observation. This is my personal opinion. It seems from my own perspective, it's very brittle, very vulnerable, and to me, it's appearing to fracture slowly. It's fracturing. And when I listened to Cosmo being interviewed in one of his recent interviews, he said something that I took note of. I actually wrote that down. His point was simple. He's like, why do they keep coming after me? It's like they own me. I never signed a contract with them. So when I listened to that, it brought me back to the structure we need to establish, in a sense that we need to turn this into a lesson. How do we go about establishing structure for this movement? Because inevitably speaking, people are going to be bought. They will. People are going to be bought. Politicians are going to try and come into this movement. Do we all need to work together? Yes. But as a movement, can we establish something, some structure that is so firm that they know before they even try to come and even have a conversation with you? We have already emailed them our rules for what we want, what we expect, and this is what we are not going to condone. Because let me say something. After observing what happened with the MPs the other day, quite frankly, I haven't been able to sleep for the last 2 days. I actually have changed my my perception and approach to this, to a very radical approach. That for me, going forward, my drive is the fact that Ruto is going to be in power for 30 years. After the whole MP thing happened, I reached out to my uncle. My uncle is 82 years. So he experienced colonization. And thank God he's been alive to see all this happen. He was in politics during Kenyatta and slightly during Moi. But he had to leave the country, but now he's back in Kenya. And I just wanted to pick his brains and understand what his perspective is about what is going on. And he told me, I love the Gen Z movement. I love it. This reminds me of when we were fighting colonization back in the day. But I think they have one blind side. We're blindsided on one thing, that we're not seeing this wrecking ball that is coming. He said, sometimes you can only see beyond your own experience, your own age, and beyond what you're reading. But he said, they need to understand that this man, to him, he looks at, he calls them kids because they're young to him. He calls them kids. This man crafted deals back in the day deals. Like, if I get to this position, I'll bring you in this. And he actually said something that is actually very practical. He asked me, look at right now, Raila and Ruto are on the same bed, right? So what does that tell you? The people that voted for Raila and Ruto, their votes have been combined. You essentially just voted for Ruto. So he warned me and he said, just ask them, tell them to continue with the momentum and the energy and the power they're having. But they need to be wary. There's a big wrecking ball that is coming. And he said, and I agree with him. We're already in a dictatorship right now. So we're already in a dictatorship. And it's a very crucial moment to where we have to cast our sentiments, our reservations about people aside, and realize that we all need to come together for this to work. The mission is RutoMustGo. The mission is RutoMustGo. We are having issues in our own movements already. Personally, I don't know any of you on a personal basis. I don't even live in Kenya. A lot of these things that are afflicting most people don't affect directly the people who are in the diaspora, and a lot of these politicians, they don't affect them in any way. So my proposition from a very, very humble place, I want us to learn to work with each other. But we also, there's a lady who comes here, and like I said, I take notes of the things that strike me so I can go back and think about them. There's a lady who comes here, her Redemptor, and she keeps reminding us that this removing Ruto is going to entail every single generation coming together. So as much as we're upset, we have reasons to hate people, to have reservations with people, we have to learn to work together. And I keep saying here, yes, I support Morara, but we don't know what Morara will be like when he gets the power he's seeking. You don't know. You don't know. So let's find a way to cast aside our reservations. I was in 2 spaces the last 2 days with Tony Gashoka, and personally, I am a very neutral person because I said I don't know anybody and I'm not affiliated with anybody. But if people want to come and talk to you, let them come and talk to you, but you set the terms. By saying you don't want to talk to people, it doesn't solve anything. Let me put this in a very simple way. For the guys here who are employed, we all screw up as employees. Your boss does not fire you on the spot. It's a process. He calls you, he warns you. It's a process. So we have to learn to negotiate per se. That is what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, I mean, I do have a lot I want to say, but I think the one thing we have to understand is these guys in these political scenes, it's like a boys' club, quite frankly. The whole IEBC not running because Kalonzo is basically the one that filed suit. It is a boys' club. They are trying to prove that they have some form of power. But let's figure out how we can work with them. I'm not saying that they need to become a part of the movement. And if anybody had known me or listened to me previously, I said, had we structured this thing, they don't even need to be a part of the movement, and we don't even need to negotiate with them. They can become our consultants. We pay them, they give us ideas, and the story ends there. If that is as far as you guys want to take it, in the sense that you don't want any affiliation with any of these folks. But have we established structure? I don't believe so. The movement is going on. What have we accomplished so far as a movement? After the protest, from then to today, what have we accomplished? But look, Ruto, who is our enemy, in my own opinion, he keeps winning. He keeps winning. All the punitive agendas he has, he is left, right, and center meeting his own agenda. But are we meeting our own agenda? So let's think in this regard, that the fact that we have a dictator who might be in office for 30 years, I mean, we have proof of that as an interest. There's a bill trying to extend his time and it doesn't have a term limit. And then we realize the urgency of this situation. It needs to be an all hands on deck scenario. So how do we go about that? How are we going to structure ourselves? How are we going to create structure to where when we're engaged in conversations with some of these seniors that we don't like and we disrespect and we have issues against, how can we negotiate with them? Anyway, that's all. Thank you. Is anybody speaking? Do you hear me? I don't hear anyone.
So thank you very much. Can someone hear me? Hello. Okay, I start by greeting all of you, and let me first of all express my disappointment to this government. I'm a resident of Embu, and I think we need to have a structure that is going to guide us in as far much you've seen what has been happening in this country. You know, we need to be much of being informed, informed of what is happening in the government, and what is it we're supposed to do. We as young generation. I am that kind of person that believes that Ruto must go, and we have been sidelined for many years, and part of what we are saying is that we cannot continue being in the sidelines, and we've seen what has been happening, the abductions, the killing, everything that is happening in this country. We can see it very clearly, and it is high time we come and have a structure that we can move with. Also, we need to realize we need to take a step forward of these opportunists. And I've seen of late, we have many opportunists that are coming on this side of Gen Zs so that they can have their own advantage. They are coming there for their own benefit so that they can use us, we as Gen Z, to maybe to get them into power. Then after that, they forget us. So this is high time we realize. I, being part of those people who are supporting Morara, I am happy with what Morara is doing. But should we have a structure? Because we know what we need to have agency, or rather a president. We need to have 50+1, and let us have structures that when it comes to 2026, 2027, we'll combine our all efforts and form a government that is going to bring change. I am an advocate of change. I believe
this is still going on.
I'm through.
Anybody, host or the co-host, kindly queue people up.
Yeah, I think they have maybe network issues, I think.
Hello, good evening, Toria. Coach Sonko, can you hear us?
Can the people who can be able to talk and give back mic to other people, because I think the co-host
okay.
and the host are not receiving.
Okay, let me just try to give my view
Yes,
on.
nani ananiita?
Yeah, we haven't been hearing from you.
Quiet.
Oh, nilikuwa nimeondoka kidogo but I'm back.
Right.
So we are managing ourselves.
It was like 5 minutes or so. Just hanging out.
Can I continue?
I think I was the next person who was
Okay,
supposed
okay.
to
Then
speak.
I'll leave it for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, please.
Right. Thank you very much, Tori and co-host KOT Sonko for hosting this space. It's very interesting that we are still interested in saving our nation and bringing some new governance and new things in our country. I've been thinking of this thing, and we need to be realistic. Murwad actually he talked a lot about being realistic and being real. Like, we cannot be just saying we want this, but in actual sense we're not doing what is supposed to be done. Like, we cannot say we want to be MPs, we want to be MCA, and all those kind of things. We want to be presidents, and then you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not forming structures. You're not forming anything, and like, you're not registering people. Like, if you want to become an MP, you have to go in the ground. You have to go to the ground, mobilize people, register people, get your people, and talk to them, and come with a list. Even tell us, like some of the members here have shared. Tell us, I have these people, and even in our spaces here, we can register people that we know. We have this number of people, like we have 2 million or 3 million youths who are revolutionaries. They are for us here. We have to register these kind of things, because we cannot have if we have a journey, we have to have a bus, we have to have a driver, we have to have a co-driver and the passengers. But what do we have at the moment? What do we have at the moment so that we can get this journey? I've participated in election for some two elections, and I can tell you there is a lot of things that are involved during elections. We can be saying, no, 2027 we're gonna take this thing up, and then we'll find out Ruto is back there in power, and we come back here again to talk on the space how to remove him again. These are things that we will not want to happen. So what can we do to make this, what we are talking, reality, to make it real, to make to make him out? So we need to get structures, we need to get drivers, we need to get passengers on board, we need to get co-drivers, so that this thing can happen. And people die, people kill each other to get power, people rig election, people fight, people do a lot of things. All these things are pressures that we expect to get. So when you come here on space and we start attacking each other, these are things that happened. They have they are not new things. They are things that happen. Those who know our history in our country, people have died looking for power and pushing for good governance and pushing for revolutions. People have died. People have killed each other. People have fought. So all these things are there, and we need to arm ourselves. We need to gear ourselves to know that all these things will come on our way. So we need not to be cry or to be cry babies or what. We need to fight on and to be strong, to go ahead and be on the forefront, pushing for what we want. I'll land for now so that someone else can come in. And another thing is we need everybody on board. Let us not try to out other people. Whoever want to come on board and whoever want to be with us and is for us, and we know that they are really for the revolution. Let them come in. Let them join, and we join their hands, and we be strong in the movement. Thank you very much.
Can I come in now? Can anybody hear me? Okay. I think
the next speaker speak, please.
Okay.
Anyone who have the mic.
I have it now. Okay, I want to from where just General has just left it. I'm not a Gen Z, I'm a boomer. But so we have some experience. Generally, another explosion of what happened on 25th is a bit difficult to achieve now. So it has to be a strategy now. Now, first, I want to take a bit of history experience. I've also been involved in so many elections because I'm not young, but about the youth. My experience with the elections, usually when you see people lining up, you never see that the Gen Zs, they are never there. Like my experience with the last election, the one of 2022, I come near Maseno. So when I took my boy there to go and pick ID, I found thousands and thousands of IDs. And these IDs were students of the university. Most of them were for students of universities who are registered that time. But it's like, unfortunately, they were not picked because the college was closed. But and again, even if it was students, you never see the youth. Those who see on the line queuing, they're actually 35 and going. So that means now strategy has to change. First thing I would request the youth to do is to chase what we call identity card. Have it. Forget about IBC. If anything, you should have ID. And again, in next places where people do meet, okay, having followers do not mean that they are Kenyan. Some of them are from outside. They are not even Kenyans. So having so many followers does not mean that your message reaches Kenyans, or like Morara has so many. It does not mean those followers are really Kenyans. Now, how do we propagate this information, what we are talking here, to ground? Ground is a different story altogether. When they say kwa ground kitu ni tofauti, ni kweli kabisa. This is some of them are not, they just know the local politics. So I think the strategy I would ask, like who was talking, Mweru. When Mweru talked, I think we should put forums where we discuss. If it is IBC, we could get people who are versed in that topic and bring people to talk about IBC. IBC itself, there's what we call the infrastructure, like county returning officers. If you look at the permanent employees in that office, the county, I think almost half of them are from one community. So that also needs to change. When we are talking about IBC, it should not just be the commissioners only. It should be looked as a whole. Who are these people? Because that IBC is where Ruto put his hand. The infrastructure, the permanent employees, is where he made sure he put his hand there. So we should have people discuss different topics in different forums so that you can strategize. Another thing on Morara movement, Morara, like people are saying, Morara should have so many Moraras. One maybe around Mombasa, another one. Then one day when it's a meeting of all, one from the coast area, regional Moraras, please. So for now, I'd advise that I'll leave it at that point. Maybe others can continue. Is anybody out?
Yeah, we are. Thank you.
Or I wasn't audible.
No, we had you, Mr. Africanized.
People are asleep. I think maybe you are tired. Eh?
Oh my God. Thanks so much for your contribution. Please, Ebu, as we wind up, kindly take 3 minutes each as we wind up, by the way. Who was next? Mkenya umeongea? Mkenya ni mweu? Wait, Mkenya mwekundu. Mkenya mred umeongea? Hayuko. Winter Brian, umeongea? Winter, are you there? Winter Brian, are you there? Okay, General, ebu ongea nikidropa wenye wako. Wait, Mweru unanisikia?
Yeah.
Me, I can hear you.
Okay, what's up? General unisikii? Okay, Alan, ebu tumalizi yako.
Thank you. Asante sana nothing. I wanted to just reply to Kenyan lady because alinitaja pale before when she was talking. So I had said yes, shida ni tuko nayo hapa kwa hii chama ya Morara ni that Morara is there but there are no people under him. You don't need a lot of people. We just need a very small team of party officials. Hiyo ndio kitu Morara hana, because at the end of the day, you need all the counties. You need all the counties and they are 42. So see, we need a lot of people. We need those 42 people who will be county officials for the parties in the county offices for those parties. Then those guys, it will be their job to give us the around 900 people who will cover all the political seats. So MCA, women's rep. If you add all those seats together, it just comes, it's actually less than 900. It's like 800 and something. So you don't need a huge, ginormous party. You need 42 county officials, and each county to have people who will run for those seats for that county. Hiyo tu. Then once you have that, Kenyans will know we are voting for these 800 people. Na tukienda kwa ballot, we are ticking inject. Because our voting system by itself is designed to be rigged. Because when you say these cops who are shooting us are the same people who will guard the ballot box, and we know they are in Ruto's pocket. When you say huyu commissioner wa IBC ndio atatuambia result, and we know he was bought previous election by Ruto. When you say tutatumia server ambayo baba amegongwa nayo 2 times ikamufinya, we know the odds are against us. So what we need to do is guard our votes with our lives. Basically, that is what we need to do. We have to be ready to die to make sure, one, any ballot paper that is ticked by a Gen Z, itafika Bomas. So definitely we have to follow those vehicles that will carry those ballot boxes, because what Ruto will attempt to do, he will attempt to do a mid-transportation swap, which is how elections have been stolen before in Kenya. Number 2, we need to have an agent for every voting station when it comes to election day. If you don't have an agent in that station, 34A will be cooked. Because Ruto has the funds and he'll put people in every station, and he'll be ready to pay the official who will be in that station to cook 34A. So if that guy can be bought and 34A can be cooked, there's nothing you will tell the Supreme Court after the fact, because the 34A will be the evidence. And Baba even lost an election very recently because the 34As were cooked and he couldn't prove in court that 34A is wrong, because once it's signed, it's signed. Kama official wa hiyo county alisema hiyo 34A iko sawa, na hiyo figure inafanana na ile figure kwa server, because IT guys pia wamenunuliwa. They are backing each other up there, so there's nothing you'll prove in court. So we need, first of all, the 42 county officials and the 42 inject party offices. Then once you have that, you have who will now run in that county. We have this guy, he wants to be MCA, pea yeye akimbie. Then how do you make sure this guy is not a crook? You make sure anyone who joins inject party and assign agreement. Inaitwaje? Your work contract, that they cannot betray the party, and there are some things they are expected of them if they join the party. So the integrity clauses become party policy. You can't join the party if you're a crook. So you have to sign this document here saying, if at any day you decide to become a crook, us as the party will remove you, not even the government. And you have it in writing and they sign that thing. So they bind themselves even before they campaign. This is how elections are done in serious countries. If you go and run for parliamentary seat mahali kama Norway, chama ndio kusema. So kama hiyo chama it's a right party or it's a leftist party, you have to follow leftist principles. Huwezi ingia kwa leftist party, then you start going to parliament to push right bills. Chama ndio itakutoa, hata haitafika kwa impeachment. Chama yenyewe itakugrab ikurudisha iseme you are not following the principles of that party. And that's why when you see parties abroad, they have parties based on principles. Kama ni libertarian party, they have libertarian principles, and that's what formed the party. If it's a labor party, hiyo chama imejaa watu wa atuoli type. That's how they make parties abroad. But hapa Kenya, watu wanatengeneza party na chama. We don't have principles. We don't have a manifesto, basically, when we make a party. Unataka tu party ni ya wakale, party ni ya lawyers. That's how we are making parties. Party kama for the Kenya, surely, it's a very tribal party. And it's one of the oldest parties in the country. But I was just looking to answer a Kenyan lady because she asked when I said chama ya Morara ina watu under Morara, how will we go about it? So that's exactly how they need to go about it. You don't need a lot of people. You need less than 1,000 people. Even in this call, we probably have enough people to support Morara. You just need a very compact, very well organized party. Then you attack the constitution direct. Because the constitution doesn't need a lot of things. It needs a party, it has a branch in every county, it has people running for the tickets. That's it. The Parties Act is very straightforward. So it's not rocket science, and it doesn't need a lot of people. It just needs very direct, very organized planning. That's it. Thank you.
Alan, we have got 47 counties. I don't know why you stuck to 42.
Yeah, you don't actually need 100% victory. You just need majority.
Okay, KOT. Marvin, are you there? What? Mabonga? Emma.
Naweza kuwa amelala.
Ako shughuli. General. Aha. Mweru, hebu tuambiako kitu tukifunganga.
Oh, no, me, I agree with the two speakers just spoke. And I really love listening to the speaker, Mr. Africanized, because, you know, the fact that he's a boomer is presenting an angle that most of us really possibly have not even really focused on. And I do agree with him that we need to have different Moraras. And as we identify them, we back them up. Me personally, I would like to highlight on one person that I have identified. The speaker here who was talking, Mwangi Wanyanya. I listened to him previously speak in a space. And let me just reiterate something here before people misunderstand me. I sort of want to take the focus away from somebody like Morara, honestly. And we can start by highlighting people who are probably even doing bigger and better things than him. So I would like to brag on Mwangi Wanyanya for what he's doing on the ground. I listened to him in a space, and this is like the fourth time I've listened to him. And the first time he spoke, he went into detail about how he's doing the civic education. And the fact that he's in agriculture, we know we have issues going on in agriculture and bills that have been introduced in parliament. And from my understanding from him speaking, he elaborated on how he is actually doing the civic education and teaching farmers and educating farmers about some of these bills and how the people they have in office, like the MPs, the governor, how they're not representing them. I wish he can come back on the speaker panel and sort of elaborate on that, because I felt like when he spoke today, it was sort of vague and people did not quite get a full picture of the kind of work he's doing on the ground. So as we continue, once again, I'll say, I like the whole idea of we identify people's strongholds and we nurture that. If we have 4 key issues going on, we find 4 people and let them focus on that. And then after that, we come together and we collaborate on how we can find solution or whatever. You know what I mean? So I don't have much to say today. My encouragement is, as much as we have a movement going on, I don't know for a fact if we actually do have anything in terms of documentation. Personally, I believe that every relationship you get into is is a contract. A marriage is a contract. A friendship is a contract. Except in friendships, we don't sign certificates like in marriages. So when we get upset that people are deciding that, you know what, as a person, this movement is not working for me, and they do have they're at liberty to switch because they're not bound by any form of a contract with you. So in essence, what I'm saying is, me personally, as long as I don't have a legal contract binding you to me, you're still at liberty to do whatever you want to do. So when we talk about structure, I think we should steer and pedal this conversation in that direction. How, that is something we'll need to figure out. Yeah, but I agree with what the two previous speakers said. Like, for instance, I live in the US and now we have an election. Unless you're an independent candidate, there's no way you're going to see somebody who is voted in as a Democrat deciding to go in bed with the Republicans, especially if they're the majority leader of an opposition party. For instance, look at what Raila did. Now he's in bed with Ruto. What does that mean? So, yeah, there's so much we need to do. But, yeah, we're in agreement on so many things. And the common enemy is Ruto. My enemy is not Kasmua because he chose to switch. The enemy is Ruto. My enemy is not Morara because he might be bought or whatever. As far as I'm concerned, he has a right to do whatever he wants to do. But the enemy is Ruto here. And I actually did some research here. What are the signs of a dictatorship? How do you know that your president is a dictator? Because now I'm obsessing about this. Because I think the fact that we are not addressing some issues with this in mind. The one thing that came up when I just randomly Googled, it said a dictator uses violence and fraud to get into office. Ruto used violence and fraud. I don't need to elaborate on that. And then the three key properties and the three key signs of your president or leader is a dictator, according to Google, they use intimidation. He's been using that quite often. They use terror. Then once they've done that, then they start suppressing civil liberties. He's already doing that. So fact of the matter is, he's a dictator. How long is he going to be in power? Question mark. My honest expectation is we're not even, actually my approach is going to be extreme, but we should not have an election. We should expect he'll be in office he's 57 until he dies. He might die maybe, let's say life expectancy of men is like 78. So we should calculate this and realize he's probably going to be in office for 30 years until we figure out a way to do something about this and understand the urgency of the current situation in Kenya.
Wow, thanks sana Mwara. Bana saa yenye tunaenda kulala ndo mnakuja. Sawa tu, acha niwapee mkuje. So, General, actually I've been calling you for long hadi ikabidi ni kudrop. Please talk to us and be short. Tunaenda kulala. Masaa ni machache, mambo ni mengi.
I'm here, and we shouldn't sleep this early because the country is heading to the wrong direction. We should be awake all the night, according to
Yeah, we should be awake, lakini unaelewa watu kama Mabonga na sisi Gen X tuko pale ground. Kesho pia tunataka kuingia space, you know.
Yeah. So guys, what I can say, like this is a good end, like we are moving to the right direction. And what I like is this unity and how we come together to do this stuff. And we are not going to be stopped any sooner because we are firm. And what I always like that's why I call myself a general, because you have to be firm. In anything going revolution, everyone has to be firm that you must have to be firm with your stand. That's why we have brothers who are coming to spearhead this revolution. We have Morara. Apart from Morara, we also have very many activists who are doing this stuff to make it happen. So what we want here, like for us to fight this guy, this guy, according to what he believes in, he always believes in himself. That's why some decisions he just make by himself, and he doesn't even regret what decision he makes, because he always tend to believe that he's the master. But what he forgets that we are the author of the book that the books that he reads about revolution. So we as revolutionists, let us just stick together. Let us be firm. Let us be focused in everything we are doing. Because the only headache that this guy has right now is the movement. There's no opposition. There's no Raila that is giving this guy a headache. Raila is already in the box. Raila is already a slay queen, slaying around his bed, waiting for anything that comes around in terms of a you there, which we don't care because it can't help us. We can't say that even if Raila gets the EU post, how will he help Africa? And Africa, almost all the countries depend on external borrowing, and it's not external borrowing from Africa itself. It is from the West, or we go. It is from the West, or we are in America, or United Kingdom. So our opposition is gone. The only opposition that is starting right now that is giving this guy headache is this movement. So this movement, if we are the only headache to the government, the only thing we can do, we just have to be firm. And firmness means that to be firm comes with action, because action always speaks louder than words. Don't come here to watch me speaking so that you can send me somewhere to be traced, to be tracked, or whatsoever. That one can't work if you mean well for this nation, because this nation will not only depend on you. You are also someone's son. The guy who gave birth to you is almost regretting why he gave birth to you because of the current situation of this nation. So for us to make this nation a better nation, because you will sire kids and you also like those kids to have a good life. I'm talking now on behalf of Gen Zs now, because most of us hatuna watoto, hatujafika hapo, na hata tunashangaa kaa tutaoa ama hatutaoa, but ni God. But as much as we are now, sisi pia ni watoto wa mtu mwingine who always pray that we have a good life. So for us to have a good life with this current situation, how things are going, reckless leaders, people who don't reason. If you see someone like Oscar Sudi going to the parliament and making decision, you wonder, even you should wonder wherever you are, which direction are we heading to? We are not. I always say that Uhuru alikuwa anakunywa pombe. Ndio maana kijana mwingine anaongeanga Jacaranda grounds, I always like him. Anasemanga like rais wa kwanza alikuwa mlevi, wa pili mlevi, wa tatu mlevi, wa nne mlevi, wa tano mlevi. Huyu mtoto wa Jesus Christ, huyu brother wa Jesus Christ mwenye amekuja akunywi hata aonji yote, hata sigara avuti sigara, but huyu sasa ndiye ametuweka kwa pali pengine mpaka tunashangaa walevi ni wakina nani, mpaka kila mtu anashangaa si basi tukue na president mlevi, because decisions zinamekiwa kwa church. Bibi yake ni pastor, tukienda tena kwa bibi ya deputy president pia ni pastor. So tunashangaa kwani kanisa ndio kuna scam? This is the first time kwa history ya Kenya yenye scam. Ya kwanza imekuwa ni kwa government yenye watu wote wameokoka. Ruto anasema ameokoka, Gachagua pia amesema aliacha pombe. So hawa jamaa pia huwezi waelewa, juu wote ni waongo. Gachagua ni muongo, Ruto ni muongo. So huwezi jua nani ni nani. It is better Uhuru alikuwa anakuja pale kwa speech akiwa zake zimeshika. Ulikuwa unaelewa nyewe rais wangu zake zimeriet, hii kitu amesema ni uongo. But huyu ni mtu ametoka kwa church 30 minutes ago. Anakuja kukuambia uwanja wa Bungoma itajengwa high class, na tuko na Kasarani haijajengwa, na it has been there, but anaambia watu wa Bungoma, watu wa Manu, kuna game ya Manu na Arsenal, kuna derby ya Manu na Liverpool itakuja kuchezwa huko, ama Arsenal na Chelsea watakuja kucheza Bungoma, na unaona watu wa Bungoma bado wanapiga makofi, wanasema yenyewe venye huyu jamaa anasema itafika. That's why I'm the person even who brought the motion, like we have a president who is mentally incapacitated. Na uzuri imeenda kwa court, there are people who are going to challenge the president court. The president is not mentally upright. The deputy president also is not mentally upright, because Gachagua kona personality disorder, Ruto mwenyewe ako na schizophrenia. Na ako na schizophrenia alafu ako na kitu tunaita lie disorder. Unajua in a real life if you want to lie, the lie is only allowed twice in a day. You can only lie twice in a day. Unaweza lie asubuhi useme ulikuwa unataka pesa ya fare na si fare unakuja. Alafu jioni useme unarudi na hujarudi na hiyo ni. But Ruto is lying more than 20 times in a day. So that's also a mental disorder. So we have two people who are fighting mental disorder. We need to take these people, even apart from impeachment, Ruto and Gachagua should be in Mathare, segregated, given a VIP treatment in Mathare for more than 4 months. As we Gen Zs, we focus like where did we go wrong? Because for you to elect someone who is mentally not upright, even you need also to be investigated. Anyone who voted this guy, these guys also need to be taken to Mathare for mental assessment. Because as a country now, we don't have a direction. Because one point you hear a president waking up saying that JKIA has been hosting 7 million travelers, but it has expanded. Now, because of expansion, now the government need to seek a foreign investor to come and expand the airport. And we as citizens, we have not complained and even said that the tax you are collecting from us is enough. Get someone from outside to source this so that the airport can be built. And the airport is going, by the way. The Adanis have been living in this country and they have been negotiating these deals and things are going on. And you think you can, I'm telling you, man, Kenyans, 60% of us are not mentally okay. If you always have anyone having an ID card and you have attained the age of 18 and above, just call yourself mentally unstable, including your president. No one is unstable. No one is stable mentally in this country because of the decisions we make, and things that are happening. And those are things we cannot allow. We as revolutionists, and we are people fighting, and because we want better, the good things for this country, these are things we must not allow. And we cannot let them go on. I'm telling you this for fact. I'm telling you, you saw stupidity that happened yesterday. Me, I don't support Gachagua. If I see you, by the way, saying that Gachagua was only opposed by 44 MPs, and you celebrate the 44 MPs as heroes. Who are the heroes? Do you tell me someone like Salasha, who is mentally unstable, ati amekuwa among the 44 heroes? How do you celebrate the 44 heroes? We either make our stand, useme kama tuna support this movement to bring revolution in Kenya, or you are still tied to your tribal stereotype. These are not jokes. We are just being me. I talk my mind because I'm a general, and I know what I've passed through. I know this country in and out. I've been in the country. I've been in this nation as a student. I've been in this nation as serving nikivaa kofia na iko na crown. So I know what I talk about. I'm someone who penned this signature nikasema ujinga kama hii sitaki. But ukiniambia sahi we are saying Ruto must go. Ruto must go means Ruto's presidency. President and deputy president. Si tena nikitoa deputy president unaanza kulia ati deputy president alikuwa mzuri. That one you don't mean well for this movement and you need to go home. You are mentally unstable. We need people who are mentally upright. Mi Gachagua ameenda nimefurahi. Si bradangu, is not my mother, is not my brother, is not my relative. Even I don't care whether he comes from. Because these are the people derailing our economy. The next thing we should be fighting for, we have chased the deputy president. The next thing is the president. But ukianza kulia hapo tena tu wameifukuza deputy president. Where is your stand? Tell us your stand. Usitubebe hapa hivi kama sisi ni ile kitu umebeba huko nyuma. We need to be firm. Kama ni revolution is revolution. Revolution is bringing bad leadership to the ground. But we sasa tumetoa deputy president na tunaanza kutuambia mlima. Which sisi unasikia watu huko Nyanza wanasema the people from the lake. Lake Victoria isiguzwe, mlima isiguzwe. Sasa tunaenda wapi? Guys, let's be honest about this revolution. If we don't want this revolution, we sit down. Tuseme basi imetushinda. Because you cannot be one person uko inject na next person tena uko UDA. Uko UDA aje na uko revolution. Ama uko ODM aje na bado uko kwa revolution. Na hata wewe si registered member wa UDA ama wewe si registered member wa ODM. Where is your stand? Kama una stand, keep quiet.
Omera, sawa sawa. General, tumekusikia, tumesikia hiyo maneno. But you've really spoken very well. Na sijui leo Real Joe umenyamaza aje. Baraka, you guys, I don't know what you're doing hapo chini. Real Joe, kwani ulifungwa mdomo? Hebu panda na huku. Yeah, umeongea vizuri. And I'm glad. Mrima isiguzwe, Victoria isiguzwe, sijui wapi. Kenya ni yetu sisi wote na Kenya ni home. But then let me tell you, despite like hata hiyo Mrima iguzwe ifanye nini, bado sisi wote niliwaambia one thing. Next time tunaletewa bill ya ku breathe. Mnaona sasa hivi venye mabills zinapitishwa. Haya, bill ya breathing iko loading. Ngojeni tu mtasikia sahi kupumua ni bill ishapitishwa. Ukipumua mara 7 uko ndani. So, acha nipea hao watu wameitisha mic nione Real Joe hapa. Guys, we need to stop like divisions. Let me tell you, we can only work this thing out by unity. Unaona unity? Unity ndio itatufanya to work this thing out. Divisions za hapa na pale nini kulienda kukawa paukwa sijui nini story za jaba mingi. It won't work out. Stay focused. Mimi nitasema hivyo kila siku, day in day out. Oh my God. Mweru, go ahead. Real Joe, go ahead, please. Then Ruringi, go ahead after Real Joe, please. I'm about to drop my network. Iko na ufala.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying what General is saying. It's true. We have a mental disorder. Yeah, I agree with the General. Yeah, we all have a mental disorder.
Okay. But then let me tell you this. Actually, there is in a constitution article yenye inasema if you suspect ama we think like the president akona hiyo mental disorder, we can take him for sijui tunaweza muimpeach ama I'll check on it. But the problem is wale manguruwe ziko pale state house ama ni parliament, wote ni watu ya Ruto. Hawezi mfanyia venye tunafaa kufanyiwa. So it's upon us sisi wenye tuko peke yetu tuchukue hii mambo kwa mikono yetu. Okay, Real Joy, hebu endelea please, I'll be back. Woi.
I think the article najaribu kusema ni article 145, the removal from office of the president by impeachment. I think you are trying to refer to incapacitation, something like that maybe. Anyway, what General has said is just on point. I don't know what to add on to that. I didn't want to speak. I just wanted to listen in. But really, if we were for the movement and we are saying that we want Ruto out with the entire presidency, if Gachagua goes out, I mean, that is just one battle won. So I don't see the reason why some people should be disgruntled by Gachagua leaving, because otherwise there's no way to say Ruto must go, then they both go. No, there's no provision for that in our constitution. Our constitution talks about removal of president from office and also removal of deputy president from office. Of course, to remove a president from office, that is tall order. I mean, you would really require a lot of muscles to remove the president from office by impeachment. That cannot happen anytime soon. What the young people wanted is the president to resign, which again, William Ruto being William Ruto, he will never resign. But the impeachment of the deputy president, I mean, let that happen. I mean, that's not even our concern. It's not our problem. Let them cancel out each other. That's not our problem. So when Rigathi goes, that is a win. At least one of them has gone. And when the enemies are fighting, let them fight. That's not our problem. We need to just focus on the problems that we have as a people. The Adani things, the shisha the shisha that is being brought to us to smoke, the things to do with the actually, by the way, if you look at these issues vitu kama Adani, look at Adani, we are giving them a 94 billion contract. Then we are telling them we cannot afford 238 billion. So they are giving us 238 billion in return for 30 years of managing and running our airports and making profits out of it. And then on the other hand, we are giving them a contract of 94 billion. So where are our priorities as a country? That it is so wrong. How would we even do that? The same company, we are giving them money on one hand. On the other hand, we don't have money to make infrastructural development in our very valuable assets, and therefore we are giving them to run it for 30 years in exchange of only 238 billion. Doesn't make sense. So those are things that we are supposed to fight as a people. But most importantly, the direction that we follow in this movement is also very important. It is very critical that we have a sense of direction. I refuse, and I will say here, even though most of you might not subscribe to the same idea and might not like, I refuse to be part of a movement our party that calls itself Inject. I can never subscribe to that kind of ideology. Let's have ideas that are supposed to bring our nation to life, not a wheelbarrow sort of ideology. We had a wheelbarrow ideology, then we cannot have an Inject ideology na logo ya shindano. I'm sorry, KOT, you are part of that movement, but I mean, me, I've never subscribed to that idea ever since it started. Okay, so we cannot be trying to change our country with the same methods that are being used to dismantle our country. We need to have, we need to be innovative as a people. We cannot have a country that is like, I don't know, but for me and my house, that idea of Inject, hiyo nani yenu mtakaa tu nayo. But I will not really discrediting that. Every other person has a right to their own ideas, agenda, and things like that. But we also need to have some focus. I need a leader for me. I need to be led by someone I see vision in, someone I see focus in, someone I see some sense of responsibility in. Not I don't know. So I need a maturity in a leader. So I will not be coerced to follow a certain leader in a certain direction. Is what we've been doing all the years. And we've ended up having garbage for leadership. Okay? We are looking for a hero just because of a few skits, videos here and there. Then now we've created a hero out of someone. Then they end up going ahead and disappointing us. No, let's be patient. There's no rush into selecting a leader right now. Let's be patient. Let's solve matters at hand. Then in future, we can talk about what leadership looks like for us. So that is what I have to submit today. So I'm not against the movement. I'm not against anything. The movement is steadfast. Unfortunately, we've started branding each other in the movement as traitors, sellers, and things like that. It is part of what these people we are fighting against want us to do. They want us divided as possible. So we need to also look at how we stay united. That is very, very critical. We need to find how we stay united. We cannot have disruption in this movement. I'm seeing very influential people post irresponsibly. I think that's the best term for it. They post irresponsibly. Mtu anapost vitu zake huku, Aoko anapost for her fans. I don't know, Gaido anapost for nani, Amerix akona yake huko. I mean, that is, if you think having a lot of followers translates to being an important person, you are wrong, you are deluded. In fact, you are not important. You are as unimportant as your followers who are supporting your lack of your naivety. So let us be objective. That is what I would want to see in a leader. I don't want a leader who will come and tell me, if you don't want to follow me, go. I don't want a leader who, after contributing money to, will come and tell me, I want to refund you back your money because you think, because you're asking for accountability. I don't want that. I want a mature person
who can lead a country. I don't want someone. That's what I mean for leadership. So anyway, let me rest my case there. Thank you very much.
Toria. Nimekuita mara ngapi Toria? Mr. Sonko, how are you? None of the hosts is here? The real speaker.
No, I'm here.
Oh, the real
Is
speaker?
my network right, or we have a problem?
No, I'm trying to find out if I'm being heard so that I don't talk to myself.
Or I can continue to make my submissions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I support what my brother said.
I'll come back. Go ahead and make your submission.
Yeah, that's the way to go. You know, reality always sometimes the reality always eats. This guy talks the truth because this is a movement. Hata tujafika karibu na mto wa Nyando huko, lakini unaona maneno ishakuwa mingi, like this person want to warn this. Right now we are not fighting for political parties. That one must be understood. Me, I'm a general. Me, I talk my mind the way it goes. We are not fighting for which political party. What we are fighting for here, like one unity. We move together as a family. But tukianza hii maneno ati this side and this side, hii imetengenezwa ati hii na hii, alafu unaona ndio hizo shida zinatokea. Let's be realistic. This is a revolution, and revolution just need like more people that are united, and you are united with one common goal. There are very many people who are driving this thing, but we don't know their intentions. So there's no point that we ever said that for us to counter these people, we have to have a political party. That's false. That's I'll tell you in a broad daylight, that's a fallacy. It's a big fallacy to tell us that right now we need a political party, because if you bring a political party, you for registration will bring members. And if you start registering those members, that's where the problem will start. There are people who will feel that they have to own that stuff, and there are people who will feel that they have been left outside. I'm telling you the fact. We know these things with the parties. Hata hii ODM, unaona hii ODM imerani yenye sahii imekuwa violent, imekuwa Orange Democratic Violent. We know how it was formed. Orange Democratic Violent was formed at the end of 2006, 2007 elections, 2007, 2008 elections that caused the post-election violence. Because Kalonzo Musyoka alikuwa na ODM Kenya and Raila Odinga was having ODM. Akachukua ODM akaregister chini ya maji, akapea mtu mwingine akakana, because he was not even trusting his fellows. He was not even trusting the people who are in the movement who wanted to bring the revolution. Siongei juu ya Raila ati I'm supporting him. That's my number one enemy. My number one enemy in this country right now is Raila Odinga, because he betrayed our cause. Ali-hijack cause yetu na amepata nayo CS4. I'm bitter about it because that's so bad. That's not what we wanted to fight for. Even the political party issues zilileta shida. ODM Kenya Kalonzo akakimbia nayo, ndio Raila kabaki akona party ingine yenye haieleweki. That is why huyu jamaa alikuwa Citizen. I don't know his name. He was a media person. Raila alimpea hiyo ODM. Ndio akamuuzia ODM at a cost. So that guy, Gashoka, is called Gashoka, and I cannot also trust Gashoka because ali trade in ile apeana hiyo ODM. Sasa juu ODM Kenya kulishaenda, he traded in. So this issue of political party, ndio naona kiburi natoka, issues inaanza like we need to do this and this. Yes, I don't oppose anything to contribute about a political party, because even in America, Kamala Harris has raised $3.2 billion out of public contribution, and that's a good hint, because if you contribute to someone, that guy will get to power and will never think of stealing your money to replace what is spent in the campaign period. But the way we are handling this thing, tumeanza kuihandle na kiburi, tumeanza kuihandle like we are different, like hii ni generation ingine, hii ni ingine. Ndio sasa unaona ndugu mdogo pia, we had a small brother in this family. This family is just dividing as this goes by, because me I talk the truth. Unaona ndugu Samuel pia alikuwa anapigania akijua hii nini naenda hapa. Akaingizwa kwa wakora, akajipata na mtu kama Gaucho. Gaucho, those are brokers. Those are people who sleep. Kama jataja jina Raila Odinga hata hawezi lipa rent. Huyu hata siposema Ida Odinga ako hivi, hawezi lipa rent. Because it's just a common mongrel. I always call him a mongrel, a common mongrel, street raised mongrel who cannot do anything in life. So lazima support to these guys ndo ajipate. So yeye akajipata kwa hiyo mix, akidanganywa ati if you want to fight Nairobi politics you must meet this person. We are changing the dynamics. That is why tunasema we don't want any politician to be brought on book right now and to pay direction. We can lead ourselves. We have the mind. If you had the mind to know the finance bill and tell the people on the ground how everything is going, tunaweza lack mind ya kuchoose someone to lead us. That's why we are saying for this entire period, let us be leaderless. Si ati leaderless ati tunachukia wenye wamesimama. Wewe kama umesimama, you have your intention, it is good, tutapatana kwa ballot. But as Gen Z movement, sisi bado tunasema we are moving. We are heading to the mountain top. Hata tujafika mountain top na watu washaanza kupigana hapa chini ya mountain mpaka mtu amevunjikwa mguu. Mtu ashavunjwa mguu hapa chini ya mountain, hatujaona mountain top, na ndio huko ndio Zion. What we are looking for is Zion, na hatujafika hata mountain top. Na tuko hapo hivyo tunavita na hapa na pale. No, that one cannot happen. Let's be realistic. Wewe kama uko na intention yako, it is good. Me, I don't always fight any youth who is having a vision. If you have a vision, continue carry the vision. Bora umepata watu wa kubeba, mi bora tu mi shida yangu mi huwezi nibeba akili. Hiyo ndio kitu I'm always confident about. Hiyo ndio kitu ilifanya ni differ hata na my own parents. My own parents niambia, hii akili yangu mlinipea, I don't know, brain ina developiwa na human being, but nyinyi hamkunipea. Nyinyi mlitoa human being, but the brain, I'm the person holding the brain. Mi ndio manager wa brain yangu. You cannot control me. But ukiona you have the best brain to run, ukipata watu unaweza kanyaga nayo na usonge nayo, kanyaga nayo usonge. Provided uja interfere na hii movement, we are good and we support you. But hii kitu inaendelea hapa sasa, people are so worried. Honest people like me always, mi nateteanga KOT. Mi KOT sitetea ati ananipea nini, hata hatujai kutana na yeye. This a guy sijai kutana na yeye na nasema ati namtetea leo, but there's a point niliona anaanza kupigwa like this a threat, anashanga like, whoa, what the hell you guys, what do you mean? What are you like, unatuambia nini sasa? Security leak ikitoka kuingia kwa DCI nini? Ni wewe hujazima simu, my friend. There are security protocols that we know. If you have a smartphone na smartphone yako iko off na bundles ziko on, don't tell us that uko traced. Nani amekutrace? Ati familia amekutrace? Hiyo ni familia issue na the issue of lands mko nao huko nyumbani. If you have a bundle, your bundles on and you use a smartphone, you can be traced anyway. And I don't want to tell you that. Hiyo ni siri ingine nikianza kuongea ni tricky sana, but you have a smartphone na bundles zako ziko on na uko online na umetraciwa, then you claim ati umebetraywa. Umebetraywa na nani? Maybe you go and blame your ancestors nyumbani. If you don't want to be betrayed, zima simu yako, ukae offline. Umeona mtu mwenye anatafutwa like huyu nimemwona hapa kwa hii base ya Chang'aa. Kidogo hivi alikuwa kwa hoteli. Kidogo hivi amepanda gari amerudi Nairobi. Hiyo sasa wewe ni mtu anatresiwa, unaweza sema nimesalitiwa na huyu. But the moment your mobile phone is on, mobile phone is on na bundles ziko on na mtu akutrace akupate hivi, don't question ati mtu amekubetray. Ni wewe umejibetray. So tukianza vitu peti kama hizo, we are dividing ourselves. Kila mtu anaenda hii side. Ukiona huyu Kasamuel amesimama side yake, nikaambia Kasamuel, this is not about English you speak. This is about revolution. English utaongea tukiwa tushatengeneza bunge. But talk English and you bring impact to the people. Don't be a person that people complain about. We were complaining that day. Mimi nilikuwa Bomas. Ukienda Bomas wenye walikuwa naongea Bomas, people were talking shit. Unashangaa kwa nini, idea gani? Hata nilishangaa hata walitoa rota hapo hivyo ati there are 486 people who voted in Nairobi against 382. Nikashangaa walichaguliwa. If it was no group of us wenye walisema Bomas, wakasema wapi hizo karatasi za kusaini? Watu walikuwa natoa maoni even without kujua kuna karatasi ya kusainiwa. Kenyans are not informed. What we need to do is to drive the civic education to the normal people mwenye kupale kwa ground. Drive the civic education. Kama unasikia mtu anasema, kuna video niliona imetoka kwa Mrima na kuna ingine pia watu walipewa chakula Migori, mtu anasema amekula mchele na nyama. William Ruto is good to go for 10 years. Na umekula tu mchele na nyama, na sijui nyama nani alikuwa anaserve hiyo nyama yenye ile confuse watu hivyo. Those are the people we need to reach. Even before kutengeneza political party ama before kujitenga na sisi tuko hii revolution na yao wako hii revolution. Those are the things we should be fighting. Let us be realistic. Man, tusianze kudanganyana hapa hivi. Mimi acha nikuambie, mimi siwezi masaji ego yako na nikwambie itakuwa hivi na hivi. Ni reality inaenda hapo. Because tutakuwa na betrayals. There will be a lot of betrayals in this movement, I'm telling you. There are people here wanaongoja tu like, mimi wacha nikuange space siku moja simu ipigwe. Maybe simu itapigwa ni yako ya kifo kikufa. Let's be realistic, man. This is a revolution. This government is giving people depression out here. People are dying. They don't care about our health. They are just running things the way they want. There's nothing you can do, man. The only thing you can do is stand with your brother. Don't stand against your brother.
General,
be united.
General, kwa
Be
dakika moja ya
strong.
kurant,
Speak one
kwa dakika
language.
moja ya kurant.
Something that will move us forward. But you are not even a demagogue. You are incorrigible demagogue. There's something called incorrigible demagogue. Incorrigible demagogue means you don't reason, you don't even think about yourself, you have not even seen yourself. Kama unasema ati wenye walimpigia kura are heroes. How the hell are they heroes? And we are fighting to save the country. You are incorrigible demagogue. Incorrigible. Incorrigible, you cannot be changed. Even your parents, they can go to church for 100 years. They cannot change you because that's a mindset of a dead person. If you are dead, you are on the ground. No one can put you up. So guys, let's be realistic about this revolution. This revolution, there are people who spend day and night. There are people who burn even the midnight candle to see it happen. Then unatukujia tunasema Ruto must. Tukisema Ruto must go, tuseme Ruto aende, aache watu wengine. Even we want the MPs to go home. Sasa ukitukujia na feelings at Gachagua ameenda, so what the hell, man? What even are we talking about? You should be buried alive. There are people we will bury alive before election. Ni kama wazazi wetu wengine tutawanyang'anya ID. By the way, hii revolution inaenda, kuna wazazi watanyang'anywa ID because hawa hatasikia hata tuhubiri injili hadi 2026. They will not lazy. Itabidi uchukue ID ya mzazi wako uchome. Ikae huko chini. Yeye akidhani siku ya kura naamka na ID, anashangaa rada ni gani. Akienda huko naambiwa huna ID. We educate the people who can get the information and we move on. Time is running so fast. Ruto is strategizing, taking advantage of our division, which we should not allow. Na usikuja hapa shoulder rub tunaambiwa ati yeye inaenda hivi inaenda. That's a total lie. Me, I'm telling you, that's a total lie. Let's stand the fact. The fact ni tunasonga mbele na njia yenye tunaenda kuna makucha. There are a lot of thorns in the way and you must be strong and vigilant to kupitia hiyo barabara. Si barabara rahisi unadhani ati itakuwa hivyo. Si watu watafika. Hata mimi napiga kelele hapa najua aje nitafika. Mimi naongeanga hivi kama nishapima. Mimi am 6.2 feet. Najua sanduku yangu inatoshana aje. But I know one day KOT atafika, Tori atafika. They will spread my message itafika hapo. Mimi nishajipima futi. I know my height. I know coffee na haitasumbua watu kuchanga pesa. I know because revolution si kila mtu atamake. But revolution tukianza kusonga mbele, usianze kuangalia nyuma. Tukisema hii maua itolewe kwa barabara, usianze kuuliza tena nani alipanda hii maua. That's what we are telling us. You are dragging us behind. Ati yeye tena mbona wametoa Gachagua? Au MPs wamefikiria aje unawasalimia aje? Wewe utawasalimia aje sasa? Ni idea gani unataka kuwasalimia? Ni wewe ndio tutakusalimia. When our MPs will make decision, juu sasa hatuna parliament. We only have one government yenye iko hii ya Zakayo, and we have one government yenye iko hapa X-Space. X-Space is opposition. This is the only opposition that is existing in Kenya. X-Space. This is the only opposition. Yenye Itumbi anajifanyanga ni mjanja ati anajua all tactics na ameshindwa. Wakaita mpaka UDA, sijui UDA comradeship. Bado wakifika kwa hiyo UDA comradeship wanapea comrades 1000 wahudhurie meeting, but wanaambiwa ukweli. So it means that the message that is being passed is very, very vital. So if you play against this message that we are passing here, my friend, it's not a bad lie. Tuko na watu hapa, we have police officers who have resigned. We have guys for the military who have resigned. We have guys from each and every sector of the government who are working as whistleblowers that have been sacked, and they have actually agreed that they want to stand with this movement. So ukicheza, ujue tuko na maaskari, tuko na jeshi wameresign. So ukileta mchezo maneno kidogo kidogo hivi, wewe utajipata rivayala. Sasa sisi ndio tutaanza maneno yetu, because this is a movement. We are tired bwana. Kwani wewe unapenda hii nchi ama unaipendea nini? How much do you earn in this county? If you don't earn, do you earn the same with the president? Or you are just a pauper? Man, this is not a time to joke. This is a time to stand, and we need to stand firm. Labda kama uko na salary ya Ruto, na utuambie kama una earn salary ya Ruto, wewe unafanya kazi wapi? Ama umekodesha mkokoteni 1000 hii Nairobi ndio unapata hiyo pesa? Sasa hatutaki mchezo. We just have to be realistic. Kama unatuchezea tunakwambia point blank, you are joking with us, ni hivi na hivi na tunakuweka kando. Sasa hakuna sympathy. Sympathy ni tunajisimpatia si wenyewe. But if you bring sympathy to this government, we don't entertain you. Kama mtu kama Raila sasa tushamwambia akae kando. Alikuwa anajionanga tena wanasema ati Raila you the control of politics. Raila sasa ana control policy. Yenye tunamwombea bado. Tunamwombea kama Mungu ni Mungu wenye tunamwomba kwa yaanguke. Ndio ajue tuliamua kuanguka naye. We don't care. We don't care. Bila namba tunaona Morara tafuta. Mimi Morara leo ameingia state yangu na sijui na hiyo ni polio inapeanwa na government. Alafu kisha peanwa the side effects.